Chapter 1181. Zhao Ping'er said to Mu Chunfeng a little anxiously, "Mother, we only have this one chance. We can't think too much. Don't worry, I think we can definitely earn money." "Aya, are you planning for the future? If family Qin throws in your dowry as well, you really won't be able to survive in the future." Mu Chunfeng mumbled. Mother, Zhao Ping'er was so anxious that she almost stomped her feet. She thought to herself, seriously, Mu Chunfeng wants to get rich, but is unwilling to invest in capital. How can there be such a good thing in this world? Is Mu Chunfeng and Zhao Ping'er's movements attracted Qin Yuan's attention? That's right, Qin Yuan shouted outside the house. I know that you need Mother this barren mountain. What are you two shouting about 20 taels of silver? Zhao Ping'er's eyes transfer the mountain to you, said to Mu Chunfeng. When Zhao Yuan heard this, why don't we go and talk to Big Brother Yuan and see what he has to say? Sure enough, they really wanted to extort her. In agreement. 20 taels of silver. Her son was smart and had many ideas. 15 taels of silver directly. It would be good to listen to Qin Yuan's opinion. She wouldn't let others earn an extra 15 taels of silver for nothing. Excitedly explained her idea. And Madame Qi's complacent and domineering lit up when he heard Zhao Yuan curled her lips and said to Zhu Dainyu and Madame Qi, he could not control his excitement. Then you can keep the barren mountain. These few days, 20 taels of silver. Because of this matter that he was depressed to death. Robbing. He did not know what method he could use to make himself successful. Since you want the barren mountain, look down on him. You're still not willing to pay 20 taels of silver. Zhu Dainyu was a little anxious. Opportunity that the heavens had bestowed upon him. Zhao Thus, he hurriedly said to Mu Chunfeng, "Otherwise, just take out Zhao Ping'er's 5 taels of silver to buy it. We should be able to earn money." Zhu Dainyu wasn't sure if Zhao Yuan confirmed or deliberately said this to scare him so that it would be easier to bargain. You have to think carefully. Zhao Yuan sneered and replied, "If we lose Ping'er's dowry, do you think that I'm stupid? Our future will be even more difficult or stupid." 20 taels had a silver to buy a barren mountain. No matter what, I have nothing better to do? Give it a try. Besides, what if he succeeded? 5 taels of silver to buy it back, stall could be as good as Zhao Yuan 15 taels of silver for nothing. Do you really think that my family's money can't be spent? If he did not try this method, he was afraid that there would be no other better method. Didn't you come to find trouble with me because you care a lot? All right then, since that's the case, since you say so, then you have to spend more money. Mother will definitely not have any objections. Madame Qi was also anxious and spoke incoherently. Dowry. After speaking, Madame Qi was afraid that Zhao Yuan would make a move on her again. Originally, so she quickly hid behind Qin Yuan was lying in bed half dead. Zhao Yuan really couldn't take it anymore. Now that he saw hope in life, how could there be such a shameless person? Much clearer. He sneered and said, when he saw Zhao Ping'er, he hated her very much because of the barren mountain. Now that he saw Zhao Ping'er, if you want to keep it, he felt that Zhao Ping was much more pleasing to the eye. I'm here to teach you a lesson because I don't like you. If you do well, I'm telling you to be sensible so that you won't play any tricks in front of me in the future. Qin Yuan nagged. If I find out that you're like this again, don't worry. I'll continue to teach you a lesson. I know. After Zhao Yuan finished speaking, it's good that you know. She turned around and prepared to leave. Lightly. Hearing Zhao Yun's Big Brother Yuan, Madame Qi's I'm not doing it alone. I'm doing it together with Ma Xiaofeng. Zhao Yuan, you know that my skills are not understood in front of Madame Qi and then what about good? 5 taels so I'll be dividing the capital. Wouldn't that be a waste of time because of the barren mountain? When the time comes, 5 taels of silver was not a small amount. What do you want? The family Zhu did not have much money from our hands. He couldn't possibly guard a barren mountain. Zhu Dainyu was somewhat displeased. Sure enough, really going in front of benefits. Zhu Dainyu all say that will be provided by Zhao Yuan, and the others won't be providing a single cent. You really don't want to split the profits with her. I'm just asking you to be sensible. Chapter 1182. What do you regret it? No, then tell me. Zhao Yuan stopped in her tracks, and a sarcastic smile hung on her lips. Zhao Ping, what's wrong? Or felt conflicted. Can't I not buy it? She knew that she probably wouldn't be able to buy it. Qin Yuan. Zhu Dainyu's face was a little stiff. It was Qin Yuan who said that she was stupid. He said to Zhao Yuan, actually, if it wasn't for Ma Xiaofeng, you probably wouldn't have been able to run that breakfast stall alone. How about this? I don't need 20 taels. Ma Xiaofeng had the skills to cook, it to you for 15 taels of silver. If this breakfast stall was set up, it would be equivalent to her forking out the money. 10 taels should be enough, right? Ma Xiaofeng putting in the effort. I'll give you a discount of half at once. They would work together and earn money together. Zhao Yuan still shook her head. No one would say who would benefit from it. 10 taels of silver. However, even if you sell it to me at the original price, and wouldn't be willing to share the money he earned with others. Our village is near the foot of the mountain. If she were to say the reason, aren't we afraid that we can't scold her for being useless? Do I need to buy it from you? Since that was the case, she might as well not say it. No, Big Brother Yuan, Chapter 12 will also fork out money. Zhao Yuan, the two of us will naturally have her own plans. It's just wanting that little swindle money out of her hands fork out as much as us. She would not be only fork out 40% and Madame Qi's wishes. But her skills are good. Did they really think that she had to have it? We probably won't be able to make such delicious food. Now she wanted to see how they were going to sell this barren mountain to her if she was unwilling to buy it. So when we earn money, if the villagers in the barren mountain wanted it, they would have bought it long ago. They would not have waited until now. Her parents agreed to lend her money previously. Still, no one wanted to buy it. Otherwise, she would be done for. Because this barren mountain could not grow much food. Money, even if they bought it, it would be useless. Forked out the money. It was not until Zhao Yun'er's figure disappeared that the people in the family's use courtyard came back to their senses. After hearing Zhao Ping'er's words, blinked. Qin Yuan's expression softened a lot. Buy it after he offered such a huge price reduction. Yes. Zhao Big Brother Yuan rejected it without even thinking. Like this. Great. We'll take care of the stall later. Did not want it. Zhao what else could they do? Said excitedly. Did they spend 5 taels of silver to buy a useless thing? Were they going to put it in the village as a decoration? She didn't know whether Qin Yuan's words were a compliment or an insult. However, Zhao Ping'er was still very happy. He didn't want to earn money from Zhao Yun'er's hands. Don't worry. He lost his own money. And better in the future. His cold gaze fell on Madame Qi. Faintly. Madame Qi was stunned for a moment because she was too surprised. Zhao Ping'er tactfully said to Qin Yuan, different from what she had expected. You rest well first. Actually did not want to buy it. Then what should she do? Half a caddy of meat tonight to nourish your body's eyes. It was as if he wanted to eat her indifferently again. Madame Qi naturally knew why. She smiled and looked at Zhu Daniu nervously. He felt a trace of sorrow in his heart. I don't want to. At this moment, who knows what Zhao Yun'er is up to? Was not as annoying as she had thought before. Zhao Yun'er is loosening the reins only to grasp them better, or could really help them earn money and make their family Qin rich. Maybe she will wait for a few days. If we don't lower the price, be his concubine, she will naturally come and buy it. Ping'er be with his brother. After all, Qin Chuan. There's only this barren mountain in our village. To chase Zhao Ping'er. Where else could she go to buy it? Zhao Ping'er left the house eagerly and helped Madame Qi was trying to defend herself. Even though what she said made sense, Mu Chuanfang's scolding and berating. He had no way to determine whether Zhao Yun'er really did not want Chuanfang was very respectful. Saying this. On the other side, if Zhao Yun'er was also busy sorting the price too much, she packed the tea leaves into ceramic jars and put them away properly. It all depended on who was more patient. She looked at the exquisite ceramic jars for a while, and leaned closer to take a sniff. Madame Qi. A refreshing fragrance I'll give you another chance. Her nostrils. If Zhao Yun'er doesn't come to buy it in a few days, took a deep breath. It means that she really doesn't want ceramic jars away properly. You'll be in trouble then. When someone came to buy them later, she could sell them. He flung his sleeves and left, or ran to the barren hills in the village to take sweat off her forehead. The hills were filled with weeds and were relatively barren. She started to worry now. People wouldn't want this kind of land to grow crops. Then what should she do? The more she thought about it, the more frustrated she felt. Only Li Zhang agreed, I shouldn't be that miserable, saying that if he sold the barren mountain to her, she could only use it if she bought it back. When Zhao Yun'er where else she could get a piece of land besides this barren mountain, she did not delay and went straight to Li Zhang. If it was possible, she explained the situation and said that she planned to buy the barren mountain. Li Zhang was a little curious. The mountain had no owner. Why would Zhao Yun, so whoever mined it would own a barren mountain out of the blue? This kind of land could only be used to grow tea leaves. This mountain was probably impossible to use it to grow food. Alas, are you sure you want to buy it? When the time came, Li Zhang asked with uncertainty to hire some people. Zhao Yun'er the only thing she was afraid of was that after it was mine, I'm sure I want to buy it. Other people would be jealous of it. I wonder if I can buy it. Li Zhang chuckled. Of course you can buy it. This mountain is deserted. Chapter 1202. Why don't you take it back? Returned home. Alas, Mu Lianfeng was in the house. Some use. When he saw Zhao Yun'er panting with anger, Li Zhang, he asked with concern, how much do you want for this barren mountain? Told Mu Lianfeng about what had happened. Said, when Mu Lianfeng heard this barren mountain, the corners of his mouth village can give it to you if we can't fork out the money. He smiled at Zhao Yun'er and said, Zhao Yun'er frowned slightly. Come here. Uncle Li Zhao Yun'er, there's still 5 closer to Mu Lianfeng and looked at Mu Lianfeng in confusion. What? Haha, Yun'er lass, give me not expensive. Zhao Yun'er was even more confused. 1 tael of silver. She didn't know what Mu Lianfeng was trying to do. It's more than 5. However, she still cooperated. I've already given you a lot of money. Over to Mu Lianfeng. Girl, you can't bargain with me. Zhao Yun'er's hand and looked at it with a serious face. Then he asked with concern, but in the seriousness, how is it? There was a hint of a smile. Does your hand hurt? Zhao Yun'er's mouth twitched. All right, this guy, Uncle Li Zhang. Could it be that he still cares about this? 5 taels of silver it is. Zhao Yun'er shook her head. All right. It's all right. Pay the money. It's not me who's in pain. I'll go to Yang City tomorrow to settle the procedures for you. Mu Lianfeng's eyes were still filled with heartache as he muttered to Zhao Yun'er thanked him. Yun, Uncle Li Zhang, next time, I don't have money with dealing with people to me. I'll send it over tonight. You don't have to do it yourself. Let's go back and cook first. Zhao Yun'er was amused by Mu Lianfeng called out. This guy really knew how to put on an act. She just wanted to get busy quickly so that she could cultivate the barren mountain and plant tea leaves. Okay, when the time came, I'll leave the matter of dealing with people on the barren mountain. Zhao Yun, it was much more convenient than going up the mountain to pick tea leaves, or sat down opposite each other and said to Zhao Yun'er, cultivate more land and plant tea leaves. I'm going back to Yang City tomorrow. She could take care of her lover and wait to earn money. Li Zhang nodded with a smile and replied, didn't want to ask why Mu Lianfeng went back. There's no rush.
Mu Lianfeng
You
had a
should
lot
get
of
busy
things
with
to
your
do.
matters first.
He was busy with the
It's
imperial
okay to
court
send
and
it over
family
earlier.
matters. Yes.
Uncle Li Zheng,
Take good care
I'll
of
go back
yourself and
first.
Daodu.
Okay,
I'll be back
Yuna
in a
lass.
day.
After
Zhao
Li
Yuna
Zheng's eyes,
responded.
Li
One
Zheng,
day's time
Li
was
Zheng,
considered
Li
very
Zheng
short.
Let's at
Mu
this time,
Lianfeng went
Mulan's
back and could come
sister-in-law,
back very
Madame
quickly.
Qi, was
If he
quarreling
left
with
for
other
too
village
long,
women.
she might
When
miss
she was
him.
about to come to Li
All
Zheng to
right.
judge,
Give me a
she
bucket
saw
of your
Zhao
tea
Yun
leaves
were
first.
coming over and
I'll
buying
bring it to
wasteland from Li
Hellion
Zheng's
Chen
hands.
and let him have a taste
She
of the tea.
suddenly became curious.
Let him tell me if he wants
This
to buy
Zhao Yun
it.
heir. Zhao
What
Yun
is she
readily
trying to
agreed
do?
and packed all the tea leaves at home from
Was she
Mu Lianfeng.
stupid?
Who
This
didn't know
fellow
that it
could
was
send more
impossible
people
to grow
away.
food on barren
He would
land.
let him do so.
After all,
If she bought it
the
with
people
5
Mu
taels of
Lianfeng
silver,
came into contact
she would
with were all
definitely
rich
suffer a
people.
loss.
If these
Li
rich
Zheng's
people
eyes
liked it,
turned.
they would naturally
She felt
be
that
eager
it
to
shouldn't
order
be so
from her.
simple.
After a
This
good night's
Zhao
sleep,
Yun'er was
the
more
next
shrewd
morning,
than anyone
Mu
else.
Lianfeng set
She
off and
probably
returned
bought
to the
this
heir
barren
residence.
land for a big purpose
Zhao
in order
Yun'er
to
had
earn a
nothing
lot
to
of
do
money
for the
past 2
She
days.
thought about how her second
She continued to
sister-in-law
busy
and
herself
Zhao
with
Yun
the tea leaves
had
and
been
picked
running
some
into
new
the
tea
mountains
leaves from
every
the
day for the
mountains.
past 2 days.
If there were many people
She
ordering,
didn't know what they were
she would
trying
have
to
to
get
sell
back.
them in large quantities.
Now that she thought about it,
Otherwise,
Zhao Yun
she wouldn't be able to earn much money.
mountain because she
On
didn't
the
want to
other
go through the
side,
trouble of
in the
running into the
family
mountains
Qin
every
village,
day. It would be much more convenient to plant
to be
that thing on the
tormented by
barren
Qin
mountain.
Chuan that night. Qin Chuan seemed to have fallen
Chapter
in love with
1184.
Zhao Ping.
Madame
It didn't
Qi
take
was
much
thinking that
effort
if
for
Zhao
him to
Yun'er was
torment
so
her for
eager
an
to buy the
entire
barren
night.
mountain, since this thing was very important to her, then she
Zhao
would buy it
Ping
in
felt
advance.
comfortable,
Zhao
so she
Yun,
didn't reject him,
or would naturally
However,
not be able
the
to buy it.
consequence of tormenting
If
her
Zhao
for an
Yun
entire
or
night
wanted
was
to
that
get
she
it,
couldn't get up the
then
next
she could
morning.
only buy it from
Zhao
her.
Ping
At
wanted
that
to slack
time,
off and
she
sleep,
could raise the price.
but Mu Chunfeng
She could
wasn't
ask
so easy
Zhao
to deal
Yun'er
with.
for 10,
15,
early in the morning, or even
he
20
shouted at the
taels
top
of
of his
silver
lungs
for
in the
something that could be
courtyard.
bought with 5 taels of silver.
Hurry up and come out.
Anyway, as long as Zhao Yun'er wanted
why
it,
aren't you getting
no
up?
matter how high the
How
price
can a
was,
wife be so
it could
lazy?
only be obtained from her.
What time is it?
In this way,
Why aren't
she
you
could
getting
double
up
the
to
amount
help
of
me?
money she earned.
Do you want to wait
Zhao
until the
Yun'er,
sun is high
that
up in
little
the
bee
sky?
asterisk Tisa, was very rich.
It would be even better if she could make a good
Chapter
meal out of her.
1203.
Thus,
Madame
girl,
Qi made up her
how
mind to
dare
buy
you
the
not
barren
listen to
mountain
me?
back first.
I'm going to come
After
in and give you
eagerly
a good
entering Li
thrashing
Zheng's
so that
house,
you'll be
Li
obedient.
Zheng raised his eyebrows and
Zhao
asked.
Ping was
Family
already very
Zhu's
sleepy
eldest
and
daughter-in-law,
was sleeping like a
why
dead
have you come
pig.
to my house?
When she heard Mu
Li Zheng
Chunfeng's voice
usually saw
outside the
Madame
room,
Qi come
she
over
felt
because
so
of trivial
annoyed.
matters with the women
She
in the
had been
village.
tormented the
So
whole
it was the
night
same
and did
for
not
this
sleep
time.
well.
Li Zheng
was
was
wrong
most
with
annoyed with
sleeping
the
a little
quarrels
more in the
between the
morning?
women in the village.
If she were to
and the
wake
fact
up
that he
now,
had to be the
she would
judge of
probably
such
doze
trivial
off and
matters.
not be able to
It was
wake up
very
for the rest of the
uncomfortable
day.
for him, a
Hence,
grown man,
no matter
to
how
be
much Mu
sandwiched in the
Chunfeng
middle.
shouted outside.
However, what
Zhao
surprised
Ping
Li
ignored
Zheng
him.
this time was that
She
Madame
continued
Qi
to
did
cover
not
her
come
head with a
because of this
blanket and
matter.
slept soundly.
Madame Qi's heart
After
was
being
now
tormented
thinking about the matter of
she
money.
could suddenly sleep.
How could she be in the
She
mood
felt
to
that she
bicker
was
with other
sleeping
women?
soundly and
Lord Li
comfortably.
Zheng, Zhao
I'm here
Pinger,
to buy
who
the
was
barren
cooped up in the
mountain
blanket,
from you.
even
Madame
started
Qi
to snore
said with a
loudly,
smile.
and saliva
Li
started to
Zheng
drip
was
from the
slightly
corner of her
stunned
mouth.
and looked at Madame
Mu
Qi with
Chunfeng
uncertainty.
saw that Zhao
What,
Pinger
by
did
the
not
barren
move
mountain?
even
Even after he shouted for a
Yes,
long time.
Lord Li Zheng.
His eyebrows
It's the
knitted
barren
together
mountain in our
uncontrollably.
Could
Madame
it be
Qi
that this
explained.
Zhao Pinger was
Li
deaf?
Zheng was slightly
After
stunned
shouting
and
for
was
so
a little
long,
curious.
she still did
Why
not
did
manage
Madame
to call
Qi
out to
run to
anyone.
him to talk about this
It was
matter when
really
Zhao
infuriating,
Yun
or just came over
Hence,
to talk to him
Mu
about it.
Chunfeng put down
Could
the
it
things
be
in
that
his
this
hands
barren
and kicked
mountain
open the
had some
door to
special
Zhao
function?
Pinger's room.
Everyone
He
in the
then
village
entered
knew
the
about
room.
it. After
But he was the
entering,
only one
he
who did not
realized that
know.
the snoring was
Seeing
as
that
loud
Lord
as
Li
thunder.
Zheng was stunned,
Zhao
Zhao
Pinger
Yun was
said,
hugging the blanket
"What's
and
wrong,
sleeping
Lord Li
soundly.
Zheng? Can't I buy
Mu
it?"
Chunfeng was
Li Zheng
instantly
frowned and
angry.
said to Madame Qi,
This wretched
"It's
girl
not that
was
I can't
really a
sell
pig.
it, but Yun, he
He
had
already
shouted
told
me
me
that
so
she
long,
also wants to
but
buy
she
this
did not
barren mountain
respond.
and continued to sleep
Madame
in the room."
Qi said with a
Wasn't
smile.
this too much?
Lord Li Zheng,
Mu
she said so.
Chunfeng rushed to Zhao
Isn't
Pinger's
this barren
bedside
mountain
and
still
lifted
in your
Zhao
hands?
Pinger's blanket.
Has she applied
After
for the
this,
land deed?
Zhao Pinger was
Li
woken
Zheng
up by
shook
Mu
his head and
Chunfeng.
said, I don't
Zhao
have
Pinger
that.
looked pleadingly
As
at
for
Mu
the deed,
Chunfeng and said to
It
Mu
can
Chun
only be
Fong.
done tomorrow.
Mother, what are you doing?
Madam Chi chuckled
let
as she
me sleep
continued.
for a while.
Isn't that
Mu
enough?
Chun Fong
Her
snorted
name
softly
hasn't been
and
written
said,
on the title deed.
Sleep,
So it's not
sleep.
hers. You only know
Li
how to
Zhang
sleep.
frowned and said to Madam
It's already
Chi,
so late,
but
and
family
you still
Zhu's
don't want to
eldest
get up.
daughter-in-law,
You don't
Yun
know
already
how to
came
help
over to
out
tell
at
me
home.
that she wants to buy
Do
it.
you really think you're a rich
Although
missy
the land
who needs
deed
to
is
be
not in
waited
her name
on?
now,
Zhao
buying
Ping
things should be
rubbed
done
her
on a
eyes.
first-come, first-served
As she
basis.
did not sleep well,
Yun
she
came
was
over
still
before
very
you,
sleepy when
so
she
you said
opened
it
her
first.
eyes.
If
She
I want
yawned
to
a few
sell it,
times and
I
said to Mu
naturally
Chun
have to
Fong,
sell it to her
Mother,
first.
why are you
A
like
glint
this?
flashed across
You
Madam
just
Chi's
sleep.
eyes.
Really?
After 2 rounds,
I'm
she
too
continued to
tired.
speak to Lord Li
Let me
Zhang.
sleep for a while.
Lord Li Zhang, you
As
can't
she
say it
spoke,
like that.
Zhao
The
Pinger
so-called
continued to
first
tug
come,
at the
first
blanket.
serve
Can't be said
She
with
wanted
words.
to cover herself
I
with
think
it
whoever
and
wants
sleep.
to buy this
Mu
barren
Chun
mountain
Fong
should be
was
the
not
one who
willing
brings
to
the
let
money
her
to you
go.
first. She pointed
Otherwise,
at Zhao Pinger
how can
and
it be called a
continued to
business
scold her.
transaction? Sleep,
Lord Li Zhang,
sleep,
she said
sleep
she
like
wants
a
to buy
pig.
it. If he
Has
didn't
she
get
paid?
up, didn't that mean he didn't want to work? Chapter
You lazy woman.
1185.
See how I'll deal with you. I don't have it
As she
either.
spoke,
Madam
Mu
Chi had a
Chunfang
look of
picked up the laundry hammer in the corner and hit Zhao
Lord Li
Pinger's
Zhang,
body.
if that's the case, then
Zhao
it's fine.
Pinger was hit so
You can't
hard
be
that her
partial
body
to
hurt.
Zhao Yun.
She immediately
She
woke
said
up
that she
and
wants
sat
to
up
buy
from the
the bed.
barren mountain.
She shouted.
Now that she
Mother,
hasn't
what are
even
you
given you
doing?
the money, it doesn't count. Why
Wait
are you
here.
hitting me? I'll go back
Mu
and get you the money
Chunfang
now.
snorted coldly
After
and
you pay
scolded.
the money,
Why
you
are you
have to
hitting
sell
me?
the barren mountain
See if
to
I
me.
don't hit you to death.
Li Zheng's
You
face
lazy
was
woman.
conflicted. Who
He
told
was
you to be
indeed
lazy?
partial to Zhao Yun.
Try to be lazy
But Madam
again.
Chi's words didn't make
Zhao
sense.
Pinger was a
A
little
transaction
helpless. Like this had
she
to
could
be
only
paid
get up
before
and say
it
to Mu
counted.
Chunfang,
Zhao
Mother,
Yun's
stop
greeting
hitting
didn't
me.
count as buying the
I'll
barren
get up.
mountain. I'll get up.
This. All right, Lord Li Zhang,
Hurry
don't
up and
say
get to
anymore.
work. Just
Mu
wait for me
Chunfang
at home.
shouted from the innermost
I'll bring
part
the
of
money
the
to
room.
you soon.
Got it, Mother.
With that, Zhao
Madam Chi
Pinger
came out of
replied
Li
weakly.
Zheng's room and ran in the direction of her house.
Family Zhu's money was in her hands. Originally, Mrs.
Chapter
Zhu was in charge of the
1204.
money. Due
But
to a
now,
lack of sleep,
she was in charge
her
of the
head
money.
felt heavy and dizzy
Although
at this
Zhu
moment.
Dania didn't treat her
It was
well
very
now.
uncomfortable.
The higher-ups still
When she
listened to
walked
her.
to the courtyard,
Madam Chi
she was
couldn't
very
help but yawn.
satisfied with this.
Mu Chunfang
When
glanced
family
at Zhao
Zhu separated
Pinger's
from the
appearance and
family,
was still very
they
angry.
didn't calculate the
Look
money
at
on
the
other
surface.
people's wives.
The first branch
She didn't
secretly
even leave her
saved up some
mother-in-law
money
to remind her to wake up
together
early
with the
in the
original
morning.
money. Wash
They
clothes,
had a total of
cook,
6 or 7
and feed
tails
the
of
chickens
silver.
and ducks.
Therefore,
Look at his own
5
wife.
tails of silver was
She
very
slept until
easy for
God
Madam
knows
Chi
what
to
time
take
she would
out.
wake up.
She didn't
She
need to
even
discuss
needed her
this matter with
mother-in-law
Zhu
to wake her
Dania.
up.
She was
She
afraid
couldn't
that
do much
Zhu
household
Dania
chores
wouldn't
at
agree
all.
and miss such
Why
a good
was it that they were
opportunity
both
to earn
money?
money.
After
The
she
difference
earned the
was
money
so
from
big.
Zhao Yun,
Zhao Ping
Zhu
rubbed
Dania
her
wouldn't
eyes
be
and
able to
walked
say
to Mu
anything about
Chunfang.
her. She asked
Instead,
Mu Chunfang,
he would praise her for
Mother,
earning
what
more
should I
money.
do?
Thinking
Zhao
of this,
Ping
Madam
also
Chi
didn't
felt
know what
very
she should
happy.
do.
So
If
she ran to Mu
transfer 5 or 10
Chunfang
tails of silver to
Mu
Zhao Yun.
Chunfang's brows
It wasn't a
furrowed.
small sum of
He
money.
really didn't know
She
what
could
to
buy
say
more
to
delicious
Zhao
food back
Ping.
home to eat secretly.
This idiot.
Buy more clothes.
She even
and
needed
buy some
others
rouge,
to guide her.
face powder,
If he
or
didn't
jewelry.
guide her, looking
Wouldn't
at what
she
she
know
was
how to
wearing
do it?
now, it
He
was really
pointed at
too
Zhao
tattered and
Pinger
too
with some
shabby.
displeasure.
She couldn't
Can't
dress
you
up
use a broom
properly.
to sweep the
She
chicken
was
and duck
not very
feces on the
good-looking
ground?
to begin with.
The entire
Now
courtyard
that she
is
was
so
old and
dirty
did
and
not dress
smelly.
up,
She
I'm
naturally
old.
looked like a
My
haggard
waist
old
hurts
woman.
badly when I
How
bend
could
down
she
to sweep
compare
the
to a
floor?
young and beautiful
You're a
girl
young
like Mu
person.
Hin?
If
That
you don't
was
help
why
to
Zhu
sweep,
Daniu's
are
heart
you
was
going to
hooked by
rely
Mu
on an
Hin.
old woman like me?
He did not even
Zhao
look at
Pinger
her.
glanced at the
Once
ground.
she earned enough
It
money
was really
and dressed
dirty.
herself up properly,
The family
she
Qin
would be
reared
able
10
to
to
become
20
prettier.
chickens and ducks.
Perhaps Zhu
These
Daniu
chickens
would
and
change
ducks
his
were in a
mind and
free-range
treat her as
state.
well as before.
So the courtyard would
Madam
be very
Chi
dirty
returned
every
home
day.
happily.
Because there was
She took
chicken
out the
and
money
duck
from the
feces
bottom of her
everywhere.
box
If
and
they
quickly
weren't
cleaned
counted
up in
5
time.
tails of
The
silver,
smell would be especially
then
unpleasant.
she ran to Li Zheng's
However,
house. Cleaning
afraid
up the
that she could
chicken
not
and duck
catch up with
feces was
Zhao
really
Yun.
very disgusting.
When they arrived at Li
Just
Zheng's
looking
house,
at it made
Madam
one want
Chi
to
paid the
vomit.
money and happily
Early
said
in
to
the
Li
morning,
Zheng,
one's
Lord Li
appetite
Zheng,
was
I've
completely
sent the money
ruined
over
by
to
it.
you.
Since
Since Mu
Mu
Chunfang
Chunfang
had spoken,
this barren
Zhao
mountain is
Pinger did
mine.
not dare to disobey.
You
She
have
could
to get the
only
deed
nod
done
and
for me
reply,
tomorrow.
Mother, I
Madam
understand.
Chi's money was
I'll
forcefully
get it done
stuffed into
right
Li
away.
Zheng's hands.
Zhao
Li Zheng looked at the
picked up a
5
dustpan
tails of
and a
silver
broom
in his
and began
hands.
to clean up the chicken and duck
He was full
feces
of
in the
helplessness
yard.
and did not
He
know
cleaned
what
it
to
again
say.
and again.
Since Madam
Pinched his
Chi
nose
sent the
again
money
and
over in
again.
advance before
It was
Zhao
so
Yun
smelly.
He couldn't
After
directly
cleaning
say
up,
that the barren
Zhao
mountain was
Ping
not sold
looked
to
at the
her,
half
but to
dustpan
Zhao
full of
Yun.
feces and was about
If
to
this
throw it
matter
far
was
away.
spread out, however,
People would
she
probably
was
say
stopped
that
by
he was
Mu
unfair.
Chunfang. Moreover,
Girl,
with
where
Madam
are you
Chi's
going?
personality,
When
she
Zhao
would definitely
Ping
make
saw
a
Mu
scene.
Chunfang's
Although
expression,
Li Zheng's
she
heart
seemed
was
a little
biased
unhappy,
toward Zhao
so she
Yun.
replied
In
weakly,
order to avoid
Mother,
unnecessary
I'm just
trouble
going
in
to
the
dump
future,
chicken poop. Lord Li
Doesn't
Zhang felt
it
that it was
stink?
better to forget it.
I say, little girl, are you stupid? You
Chapter
didn't dump the
1186.
things that should be dumped. But you
The
went to
only
dump
thing
the
Li
things that
Zhang was
shouldn't be
worried
dumped.
about was how
Zhao
Zhao
Yun
Yun
would
would
react
react
when
when
she
looked
heard
at the
Mu
Mu
Chunfang
Chunfang
He was still
uncomprehendingly.
vaguely worried.
She asked,
What if Zhao
Mother,
Yun what's
are
the use
also
of
came
keeping
out to
this
cause
chicken
trouble?
poop?
Zhao
Why
Yun
is it useless?
relied on the air
It's
presumptive.
very useful.
He was stuck in
What?
the middle little and felt really uncomfortable.
You
Forget
don't have
it,
any
forget
knowledge
it.
at all. He didn't want to think about it anymore. The
Quickly
more
he
he put
thought
it away
about
from
it,
me, the more
You
annoyed
can
he
use it
felt.
as fertilizer
Li
in the
Zhang
vegetable
said to
garden.
Madame Qi,
Aren't the
"All right
vegetables
then.
at home all
Families
watered with
use
feces?
eldest daughter-in-law.
Otherwise,
I'll get the
do you think
title
they can
deed
grow
done
so
for you
big and so
tomorrow.
well?
This barren
Zhao
mountain
Ping'er
is
replied
yours."
weakly.
Madame
Oh,
Qi
I
agreed
see.
happily.
Mother,
She just
then
waited
I'll
for
keep
Zhao
it.
Yuner to hear the
Mu
news
Chuan
and
come
Feng's
over to buy
expression
it from
eased
her.
a little.
Then,
And he
she would
replied
blackmail
indifferently.
Zhao Yuner.
Zhao Ping
All right,
followed
Lord
Lord
Li
Li Zhang's
Zhang's
instructions
I'll
and
go
poured
back
the contents
first
of the
then.
dustpan into a small vat in the vegetable garden.
Li Zhang
The
waved
vat
at
already
Madame Qi
contained the chicken and
impatiently
duck
and
feces that
helplessly.
Mu Chunfang
After
had
Zhao
previously
Yuner
stored.
went back,
She first went to Liang Jinqiao's place. She made do with Liang Jinqiao for dinner at
Chapter
night so that she wouldn't have to
12:05.
cook alone.
Even though
which
it was
would
a
be
good
more
fertilizer,
troublesome.
it still
When she
made
went to
people
old
want to
Zhao's
vomit.
house,
She
Zhao
saw that
Ping
the second branch
hurriedly
was
took the
also
broom and
happy.
dustpan and rushed
Zhao
back to the
Yun
courtyard.
asked Liang
Just as she was
Jinqiao,
about to get some
"Mother,
water to wash
what
her
happened to
hands,
second uncle
she
and second
realized that
aunt's
the
family?
chickens and ducks in
Why
the
do they
courtyard
all
had
look
come
so
out.
happy?
They were pooping
Liang
all over the
Jinqiao
ground in the
smiled and
courtyard.
said,
They're
Zhao
so happy.
Ping'er's anger
Of course
instantly
it's
flared
something
up.
good.
These
In the
damn
afternoon,
chickens and ducks.
young Master
They were
Zhang
really
sent someone
pooping
over
all
to
over the
deliver
courtyard
something.
again. He said
Once
that he
the
wanted to
courtyard
marry
was dirty,
Jinger,
Mu
so the
Chunfang
marriage
would
was
let her
set.
clean it up properly.
After listening to
She
Liang
didn't want to do
Jinqiao's
such a disgusting thing.
Zhao Yun
Hence,
finally
Zhao Ping
understood.
ran towards the flock
So
of
that's
chickens
what
and
happened.
ducks and kicked them all
During
over
this
the period of
place,
time. As
because
she
of this
kicked,
matter,
she shouted,
the people of the
"Hurry up
second
and
branch
leave.
were worried
Hurry up
sick.
and leave."
Now that
What are
young
you
Master
waiting
Zhang
for?
finally came
There's
over,
a place you can
the
go,
second
but
branch
you just
didn't
have
need
to
to
run into the
discuss it
courtyard.
and immediately agreed.
After being
She
chased
was
away by
afraid that
Zhao
if she
Pinger,
hesitated,
the chickens and
person
ducks
that
were
young Master
instantly
Zhang
scared out of
liked
their
would
wits
leave.
and didn't dare to
At
stay in
that
the
time,
courtyard any
such
longer.
a good marriage would
However,
be enough.
because of Zhao
She
Pinger's
couldn't
actions,
find a better one.
the chickens and ducks
However,
were also scared
Zhao
out of their
Yun
wits
knew
and
very
cried
well
out
that the
loudly.
marriage had been
At
delayed
this
for so
time,
long.
Mu Chunfang
Young
was
Master
cooking in the
Zhang
house.
must have asked the
When he
matchmaker
heard
to
the
find a
commotion
girl
out
from
from
another
another
family.
he quickly stuck his head out to
he
take a
couldn't
look.
find a girl more
It was
suitable
fine
than
if he
Zhao
didn't take a
Yuner.
look,
So
but
he
once
looked
he
for her
did,
again.
he was almost
If it were
angered to
Zhao
death
Yuner
by
or
Zhao
someone
Ping
with some
or-
backbone,
when
they
Mu
would definitely
Chunfang saw that
refuse.
Zhao Ping, this
Or
young
actually
Master
chased away
Zhang
the chickens and
obviously
ducks
did
in the
not put them
courtyard
in
and
his
scare them
eyes.
out of their wits.
Who would be
He
willing
didn't
to
know
be
if
a
the
spare
chickens and ducks
tire?
would dare to come back.
However,
So
old
he
Zhao's
scolded
family
Zhao
was
Ping,
greedy for young Master
I say, little
Zhang's
girl
money.
Ping, or what are you
And
doing?
Zhao Jinger wanted to marry
Mother,
into a rich
I'm
family.
chasing away the
She
chickens
didn't
and
want to
ducks in
live
the
a hard
courtyard.
life. So
Zhao
she
Ping
didn't object,
didn't think much of it.
Zhao Yun,
So she
could
replied
only shake her
nonchalantly.
head and sigh in her
Mu
heart as if
Chunfang's
she had
face
gotten
was
a treasure
cold and he
and taken
questioned Zhao
advantage of
Pinger
it.
again.
However,
Chasing away the
this was
chickens and
someone
ducks?
else's business.
Why are you
It
chasing
had
away
nothing
the
to do
chickens
with
and
her,
ducks for
so
no
she
reason?
wouldn't interfere.
Did I get in your way
As long
by
as she was
staying in the
happy,
courtyard?
it was fine.
Zhao Ping
By the
pursed her
way,
lips and
Yuner,
said,
your second cousin's
Mother,
wedding
these
is coming
chickens and
soon.
ducks are very
Liang
annoying.
Jinqiao said with
You
a smile.
also saw it.
They are pooping
Zhao
everywhere in the
Yuner's eyes
courtyard.
lit up with surprise.
Not to mention the stench.
Really,
I have
Mother?
to clean it up
Liang
later.
Jinqiao
It was
nodded
too
with a smile.
disgusting. Of course,
if they
it's
didn't
true.
stay in the yard,
Why would I
they
lie
wouldn't
to
be
you
able
about
to take
this?
a dump. I
Is
won't
it that
have to
girl
go through the
called
trouble of
Jinju?
sweeping the
Zhao
courtyard.
Yuner continued
Hearing
to ask
Zhao
with some
Pinger's words,
anticipation. Mu
Liang
Chunfang's face
Jinqiao
continued to darken.
nod. This Zhao Ping,
Yes, it's that girl.
I don't know what to
That's
say
great.
about her.
Second cousin
Laziness
happens
is
to like her.
laziness.
That
You
girl
sure
is
know
not
how to
bad
find
either.
so many excuses.
It's good that they get together.
You chased the chickens away
Zhao
and
Yuner
didn't
was
dare
happy
to
in
return
her
to the
heart.
courtyard.
Her second
I
cousin
think
was
the
a good
hens are
person.
going to lay eggs
So
soon.
Zhao Yuner hoped
So
from the
how would
bottom
you
of her
dare to
heart
return
that
to the
Zhao Tian
courtyard?
could find a good
How
marriage
can you
with a
lay
good
eggs
girl?
in the chicken coop?
Mu Chunfang scolded angrily.
Chapter 11.
The hens raised in the
87.
countryside would
In this
always
way,
return to the
old
chicken
Zhao's
coop when they
family
laid
really
eggs.
had
Had a lot of happy events to hold during this period of time. Unless
If
they
it was
couldn't
Zhao
return to the chicken
Xinhui's
coop,
wedding,
then they
Zhao
would lay
Jinger's
eggs
wedding,
outside.
and Zhao Tianhui's
With
wedding,
Zhao Pinger's
they would have
actions,
to hold 3
the
weddings at
chickens
once.
would be too afraid to
It
go
would
back
be
and
very
lay eggs
busy.
on the grass. However,
They would
for such a
definitely
happy
not
event,
be able to
the
find the
villagers
eggs when they
preferred to be
returned.
busy. In the
The
olden
busier
days,
they were,
the
the
villagers
happier
were
they
poor.
would be.
Eggs
After
were a good
all,
thing, and
when
their
they held a
families
wedding,
couldn't bear to
they
eat
could
them.
still receive
How
gifts.
could they let her waste
In
them?
general,
It was
this
just
Zhao
that they were
Ping,
busy,
or was
and they
simply
would not
too
lose
stupid.
much money holding
When
a banquet.
Zhao Ping,
or
Mother,
heard Mu Chunfang's
did
words,
second cousin brother
she
set a
couldn't help
date
but
with the
frown.
bride's family
She
for his
seemed
wedding?
to have realized her
How did they
mistake and
discuss
looked
it
at
so
Mu
quickly?
Chunfang guiltily.
Zhao
She
Yuner
was
could
very
not hold
worried
back
and
her
knew that Mu
curiosity and
Chunfang would
continued to
probably
ask
scold
Liang
Liang
Jin.
Jinqiao.
Mother,
Liang Jinqiao was not
I didn't
impatient.
know.
Instead,
If I knew,
he laughed and
I
said,
definitely wouldn't have
"Haha,
chased them
it
away.
seems that the date has been set.
Zhao Ping,
It shouldn't be
weakly
too far
defended
away.
herself.
Maybe they think that our old Zhao's family conditions are good, and the girl is also satisfied. So they
Chapter
agreed to let her marry
12:06.
into our family.
Mother,
Can
Zhao
you not
Yuner
talk about
nodded.
me like that?
Mother,
What about
Zhao
second
Pinger
cousin
said,
brother's skills?
feeling
wronged.
He
It
didn't
wasn't as
ask
if
for
she
much,
didn't want to
right?
do the chores at home.
Zhao Yun,
But after
or
she
saw
did
that
it,
Zhou
she
Daimi's
accidentally
attitude
did something
towards
wrong,
Jinju
and
was
she was
very
scolded
bad.
like that. She wondered if Zhou
she knew that
Daimi
she
would
shouldn't have
rely
done
on
the
this
chores,
daughter to
she would
extort
be
a sum of
scolded
money
anyway.
when Jinju got married.
You can't even
Liang
talk about it?
Jinqiao said, "Do you think
No,
you're the daughter
he
of a
only
wealthy
asked for
family?
2 taels of silver.
Which mother-in-law
Most
doesn't
people
miss
in
their
our
village
daughter-in-law.
pay this price for
As
a
Mu
wife?"
Chunfang spoke,
It's not
she walked in
excessive.
front of Zhao Pinger
Zhao
and poked
Yuner
Zhao
listened.
Pinger's forehead
2
with her
taels
finger.
of silver as a
Zhao
betrothal
Ping
gift was
or
indeed
felt a
quite
wave of
normal
pain.
and not excessive.
She gritted her teeth and
He
cussed
became
Mu
even more
Chunfang in her
curious
heart.
in his heart.
But on the
In this
surface,
case, she still
this
agreed.
Zhou Damei was
What
not
else
as
could
bad
she
as she
do?
appeared to be.
Mu Chunfang
She
was
treated
her
Jean
mother-in-law
Ju well.
after all.
At least
Mother,
Jean Ju had found a
what do
good
we do
family
now?
to marry into when
Will
she
our
married
chickens
Zhao
come back
Tianhu.
to lay eggs?
Moreover,
Zhao
she did
Ping
not
asked.
ask for much money.
Mu Chunfang
Compared
glared
with
at
how
Zhao
Mu Lan's
Ping.
family treated Mu
You
Hin,
still have the cheek
this
to
was
ask.
much better.
Hurry
Zhao
up and get a
Yun,
small bowl of rice and
that
call the
maybe not
chickens and
everyone
ducks
was
back
so
to
bad.
eat. Some
Zhao
people who
Ping
seemed to be
replied
bad had a
weakly.
good side.
Oh,
At the end of the
Mother,
day,
I got it.
Human nature was
After
simply
Zhao
too
Ping
mysterious.
finished speaking,
Under normal
she followed Mu
circumstances,
Chunfang's
it was
instructions
impossible
and got
to
a bowl
figure
of
it out.
rice.
She called out to the chickens and ducks.
Mother, this is
imitating
good.
how Liang
I estimate
Jinxiao
that
usually
second
called
cousin
out to the
brother's
chickens.
marriage is 80%
When
successful.
called out to them,
It seems that we have
the
to
chickens and ducks
congratulate him in
outside ran
advance.
over eagerly and started
Liang
to eat chicken
Jinxiao
feed.
followed behind
Zhao
Zhao Ping
Ping and
saw
saw that the chickens and ducks had returned and congratulated your second cousin brother.
But she was still
Speaking
worried.
of which,
These
our
chickens
old
and
Zhao
ducks
family
were
has
so
so
good
many
at pooping
happy
that they would
events
definitely
recently get dirty again.
Liang
After Mu
Jinxiao's
Chun
words
fell
fell
into
into
Zhao
Zhao
confirmed
confirmed
that the chickens and ducks were
Zhao
fine.
Baoshan
She
also
returned to
looked
the kitchen
very
and
happy.
continued to work.
He laughed and said to
Ping,
Liang Jinxiao,
After you're done with the
our
chickens,
family indeed has
hurry
a lot
up
of
and
happy
come to the
events.
kitchen to work with
There
me.
have been so many
Zhao
happy
Pinger
events
nodded and
recently.
replied,
It must
Mother,
be
I
related
know.
to the ancestors'
Just as
blessing.
Zhao Pinger was about to enter the
Speaking
kitchen,
of this,
Liang
she saw a beautiful
Jinxiao
figure
continued
walking
walking
towards
towards
their
their
house.
house.
Yes,
Zhao
father,
Ping,
it must
felt
have
that
something
this
to do
figure
with
was
the blessing
somewhat
of our
familiar.
ancestors.
She took a
Didn't we
closer
go
look
up the
and saw
mountain to build
clearly.
a tomb a while
Weren't
ago?
these people Zhao Xinhui? After
Zhao
the tomb
Ping
was built,
furrowed her brows.
good things happened
Her
one
aunt
after
was
another.
here.
Zhao
Why did he
Baoshan
come to
stroked
her
his beard
house?
and nodded with a
In
smile.
any case,
It was definitely nothing good. Third
Thinking
daughter-in-law,
of Qin
you're
Yuan's
right.
affection for Zhao
If you didn't
Xinhui,
mention it,
I
Zhao
wouldn't
Pinger
have thought
felt
of it.
jealous. Now that
No
you
way.
mention it, anyway,
I feel that it really
she couldn't
has
let her
something to
aunt
do with the
seduce Qin
ancestors'
Yuan
tomb.
again.
I guess
Thus,
the ancestor
before
was
Zhao
happy and
Xinhui
blessed our
reached the
family.
family Qin's courtyard,
Saga,
if I had known
Zhao
this,
Ping
I
rushed
would have
over
built the
angrily.
tomb earlier. She rushed in
Our
front of
family
Zhao
would have had
Xinhui
happy
and asked
events
Zhao
earlier.
Xinhui,
Liang
Aunt,
Jinxiao
why did you come
replied,
over for no reason?
Yes, father.
Did you come to
But
my
it's not
house to
too late
seduce my
now.
big brother
The
Yuan?
happy events have
Hurry up
already
and
happened.
leave. Hurry
Our
up and
family
leave.
situation is not
Zhao
bad.
Xinhui looked at Zhao Pinger as if she was looking at an idiot. Chapter 11.
After frowning in
88.
disgust, she said to Zhao Pinger,
Let's make a
"Why?
plan. Could it
We
be
have
that
to
I
prepare
can't
more
come?
paper money
It's
when we
none
visit
of your
the graves
business.
during the Qingming
I'm
festival.
not here to look for
when
you.
we have money, we have to burn more for our ancestors so that they can have a better
little
life in the
arrogant in front of
afterlife."
Zhao Pinger.
Zhao
Baoshan
Zhao
sighed
Pinger
again.
was even
Zhao
angrier.
Yun listened from the side and could not help but want to laugh.
Zhao Ping,
What her mother
pointed
and
at
Zhao
Zhao
Baoshan
Xinhui.
said was really
What are you
mysterious.
talking about?
It was
Ping,
not strange at first,
lass,
but
I'm
after
your
their
aunt and your
interpretation,
elder.
it seemed
What are you
like
trying
a
to do by
supernatural
pointing
event.
at me like this?
Seeing that Zhao
You
Yun
really
wanted
don't
to
know
laugh,
any rules.
Liang Jinxiao poked
Zhao
Zhao Yun and
Xinhui
said
snorted
seriously
softly
and continued
Yuna girl,
walking
don't
towards
laugh.
the family Qin's
Don't
courtyard.
doubt it.
Zhao
Mother and
Pinger
your
was not
grandfather
willing
are
to let
telling the
Zhao
truth.
Xinhui go. Zhao
If
Yun
Qin
chuckled
Yuan
and
saw
agreed.
this,
They
yes,
might even
yes,
get
yes.
involved with Zhao Xinhui
Mother, you're
again.
right.
Mother will prepare some things later and burn them in front of our ancestors' graves so that our ancestors can bless you. It's best if you have a happy event this year. Chapter 12.
Liang Jinxiao
nagged. Not allowed
Although there
to
were
go?
many happy events
Why can't
in
I
old
go?
Zhao's
family this
It's
year.
not your home.
Her family only had
Seriously.
one. After marrying
Zhao
Xinhui
Pinger,
snorted and
Liang
nudged Zhao
Jinxiao was
Pinger.
now thinking about
I married
Zhao Yun,
over, so this
her
is my
family
home.
would only be complete
if I don't
when
allow
both of
you
her
to
daughters
go,
were married.
then you can't go.
As for Zhao Tianan and
Zhao
Zhao
Pinger
Tianfu,
said righteously.
both of them were not that
as
old.
she spoke,
So there was
she
no
stood
need to be
in front
anxious
of Zhao
now.
Xinhui and blocked
Zhao
Zhao
Yun's
Xinhui,
mouth twitched a few times,
not allowing
and
Zhao
she said to
Xinhui
Liang
to leave.
Jinxiao,
Are you
"Mother,
crazy?
there's no need,
Who
right?"
do you think you are?
Yes,
Zhao Xinhui
there's
frowned
definitely a
and
need.
said to Zhao Pinger.
Zhao Baoshan
Auntie,
also said from
who
the
are
side,
you scolding?
"Yuna girl,
You're
let
saying
your
that
mother
I'm
serve
crazy.
you.
But I'm
Who
saying
knows?
that you're shameless.
Your happy event might
You're
follow."
just a shameless girl who
Zhao
came to
Yuna
my
was a
in-laws'
little
house.
helpless.
Don't think that
Okay,
I don't
then,
know what
Mother,
you're thinking.
If you like to
You
cause
only
trouble,
know how to
go
seduce my
ahead.
big brother
Okay.
Yuan. Then Mother will
Zhao
prepare some
Xinhui
things in
sneered
2
and
days.
stared at Zhao Pinger.
Zhao Yun
Zhao Pinger
smiled
if you
embarrassedly.
treasure Qin Yuan,
not knowing
then
what
so
to
be
say.
it. After
Don't
dinner,
think that everyone
Zhao
is
Yun'er
like
went
you.
back to get
If
5
I want
taels
to be
of silver
with Qin
and
Yuan,
prepared to send it
do
to
I
Li
need to
Zhang.
seduce him?
However,
Won't
when
he
she
just
arrived
throw
at Li
himself
Zhang's
at me?
house, she was
What
told by
Zhao
Li Zhang
Xinhui
that the
said
barren
was the
mountain
truth.
had been sold,
And Zhao Pinger
Zhao
naturally
Yun'er
understood
looked
it
at Li
very
Zhang
well
in
in her heart.
confusion.
However,
Uncle Li
she could
Zhang,
not accept
what
such
the
a
hell is
fact.
going on?
When she thought
I
of how
just came
reluctant
over to
Qin
tell
Yuan
you.
was to leave
How
Zhao
long
Xinhui.
has it been?
Zhao
I
Ping
just went home
felt
to
a
get
wave
some
of
money.
jealousy in her heart.
How could it be bought
When she
by
met
someone
Zhao
else?
Xinhui's slightly
Li
smug
Zhang
eyes,
smiled.
Zhao Ping,
Zhao Yun
angrily
was
waved
still
her
a little
claws and
angry
swung them
and
at
felt
Zhao
that it was
Xinhui's
ridiculous.
face.
It
No
was
one would
because
feel
of Zhao
comfortable if the
Xinhui's
matter that
face
they
that
had
Qin
discussed
Yuan
was
would
not
miss her.
told. If he
Li
did not
Zhang
have this
helplessly
face,
looked at Zhao
Qin
Yun'er.
Yuan naturally
Yun'er
would
girl,
not think about
what
it.
you said is indeed
When
true.
Zhao Xinhui
But when
saw
you
that
came,
Zhao Pinger had
the
gone
barren
crazy,
mountain wasn't
she
sold
quickly
yet.
dodged and said
After
angrily
you
to Zhao
left,
Pinger, the barren Zhao
mountain
Ping'er, are
was
you
sold.
crazy? What are
Zhao
you doing?
Yun'er's frown deepened.
You shameless
Uncle Li Zhang, why?
TCH.
Wasn't I the
Look
one
at how
who
I've
said
scratched your face.
You didn't agree?
How are you going to seduce
Li
my
Zhang
big
sighed
brother
and said,
Yuan?
Zhao
Zhao Ping'er
Yun'er, don't
shouted.
be angry.
Zhao
Listen to me
Xinhui
slowly.
hurriedly ran to
What's
the family
going on?
Qin's courtyard.
I didn't want it to
Zhao
happen either,
Xinhui's
but I really
voice
had no
wasn't low.
choice. Hearing Zhao
Xinhui's
Yun'er tried hard
voice,
to calm herself
Qin
down
Yuan,
and listen
who
to
was
what
in the
Li Zhang
room,
had to say,
thought that he was hallucinating. However,
Zhang
after
then
listening
explained the
carefully,
situation in
he
detail.
found that it was still Zhao
Yun
Xinhui's
could
voice.
not help but want to curse.
Did Zhao Xinhui
Madam
really
Qi,
come to his house?
This woman was
Could
too
it be
shameless.
that they were looking for him?
Although Li Zhang
had she
had his
suddenly
own
thought it
helplessness
through and decided
if
not
this
to marry
matter
that
got
young
out,
master
it
Meng?
would be a sale
Was
without
she
payment.
here to tell him about
Everyone
it?
would definitely
This
think
meant
that
he
it
had
should
a
be like
place in
this.
Zhao Xinhui's
However,
heart.
Zhao Yun
She cared about
just
him.
did not feel comfortable.
Otherwise,
She wouldn't have come to look for him. If that was the case,
Chapter
the Qin
1189
Yuan would not blame Zhao
Li Zhang
Xinhui.
said to Zhao
As
Yun
long as Zhao
apologetically.
Xinhui changed her
Zhao
mind,
Yun
he
knew
would
that it was
definitely be
useless
willing
to
to
make
be
things
with her when he
difficult
had
for
the
Lord
ability.
Li Zhang now.
Qin Yuan
Madam
climbed
Qi
down
was
from the bed
obviously going
agitatedly.
against her.
She
didn't look as
purposely
weak
bought
as
the
he did
mountain so
before.
that she could only
Now
buy
that
it from
Zhao
her.
Xinhui was
At that
here,
time, Madam
he seemed
Qi
to be
would definitely
abnormally
offer a higher
energetic.
price.
Qin
Qin
Yuan
Yuan
hurriedly
hurriedly
came out of
of
the room
silver.
to see if it was really
Zhao
Zhao
Yun was very
Xinhui.
clear about
When
Madam
he came
Qi's
out and
scheme.
saw her,
Seeing
the
that
corners
Zhao
of his
Yun
mouth
did not
couldn't
speak,
help but curl
Li
up.
Zhang sighed again.
It really was
Yun,
her.
Zhao
If you really
Pinger
want to
was
buy
wearing
that
a
barren
beautiful
mountain,
dress today.
you should quickly
She
discuss
was
it
even
with family
prettier
Zhu's
than
eldest
before.
daughter-in-law and see if he can give it to you.
Zhao
Compared
Yun,
to that ugly Zhao
responded
Pinger,
faintly.
She was like
She walked
heaven
out
and
of
earth.
Li Zhang's house
Qin
and went
Yuan's
straight to
gaze was
family Zhu.
instantly attracted
She
to
wanted
Zhao
to ask
Xinhui.
Madam Qi if
At
she
this
had the
moment,
same idea
Zhao
as Madam
Ping
Qi.
rushed over
Family
and looked like
Zhu
she was
was
about
busy
to hit
cooking
Zhao
in the kitchen
Xinhui
when it was dinner time.
Qin Yuan's brows
Madam
were
Qi was
instantly
very
filled with
happy
anger.
because she bought the barren
What was
mountain
this Zhao
today.
Pinger doing?
She lay in the room
How
in a
dare
daze,
she hit Zhao Xinhui?
thinking about how to spend the money
she
earned
earned
from
from
Zhao Yun.
She was so engrossed in her thoughts that she even forgot about the time to cook. Zhu Dainiu came
Chapter
back from working in the
1208.
fields.
He
He thought that he could eat at
what
home.
are you doing?
But when he came
Qin
back,
Yuan
he
berated
found
her
that the table
fiercely.
at home was cold
Zhao
and there was
Pinger
no
was
food
originally
at all.
in the midst of
Unlike
chasing
his
after
second
him.
brother's house,
But Qin
there was a
Yuan's
table
sudden
set up
appearance
outside
stunned her.
with fragrant
Big
food on
brother
it.
Yuan.
Smelling the
Zhao
aroma,
Ping,
Zhu
saw that
Dainiu
Qin
heard his
Yuan
stomach
was
growl.
angry.
He
She
was a
looked at
little
Qin
hungry.
Yuan nervously.
At this time,
Afraid that
Zhu
Qin Yuan
Qiao
would scold
ran
her.
out and pulled Zhu
Zhao
Dainiu's
Ping,
hand. You
Father,
vicious
I'm
woman.
hungry.
You really
Father,
beat
I
up
want to
anyone
eat
you
so
catch.
much.
You even
Zhu
treat your
Dainiu
aunt
touched
like
Zhu
this.
Chao's head and asked,
At the very least,
"Where's your mother?
Your aunt is your
Hasn't
elder.
she cooked for you?"
Qin Yuan
Zhu
reprimanded her
Chao
angrily.
shook her head.
Then he looked at
Father,
Zhao
she
Xinhui
hasn't.
with concern
Mother
and
is
asked
lying
Zhao
in the
Xinhui.
room.
She
Aunt,
seems to
how
have
are
fallen
you?
asleep.
Are you
So
hurt?
she hasn't cooked. Seeing Qin
When
Yuan's
Zhu
reprimand
Dainiu
and
heard
concern
this,
for Zhao
his
Xinhui,
face immediately
Zhao
darkened.
Ping
He
felt a
frowned
strong
and was
sense of
very
jealousy
displeased.
rising in her heart. His wife was
Her
really
aunt,
too
this
lazy.
the asterisk
He
to
worked himself to death
as
in the
long as she
fields,
appeared,
but she
Qin
didn't even
Yuan's
bring the
gaze would
children
always
and
be
went
on
to
her.
sleep in the room.
Big brother
Because
Yuan.
of this,
He
it's all
didn't even
because
have
my
a hot
aunt came
meal
when
when
he
he
came back. She wanted
The
to
children
seduce
were
you.
also hungry.
Otherwise,
Zhu
I wouldn't
Dainiu
have
walked
made a
into
move.
the room angrily.
Big brother Yuan,
With a bang,
you
he
mustn't
kicked
be
the door
charmed by
open.
her.
You
Madam
know what
Qi,
kind of
who
woman
was
she
lying in
is.
bed in a daze,
Zhao Ping
was
shouted
shocked
in front of Qin
She
Yuan.
jumped out of bed.
Afraid that Qin
What's
Yuan's soul
wrong?
would be seduced
Madam
by Zhao
Qi thought
Xinhui
that
again.
something had happened at home.
Zhao Pinger,
When he jumped up,
what nonsense
he
are you
realized that the
spouting?
person he saw
If you
was
dare
Zhu
to spout
Dainiu.
nonsense again,
Why
do
did
you
you
believe
kick the
that I
door
won't
open?
tear your mouth apart?
What if he broke the door
Qin
with a
Yuan
kick?
said angrily.
Don't you
Seeing
know
how
how to be
Qin
gentle?
Yuan was so protective
Madam
of Zhao
Qi
Xinhui,
nagged at Zhu Dainiu.
Zhao Ping knew that
Zhu
it was useless
Dainiu
no matter how
snorted.
much she said.
Why did you kick
She
the
might
door
as well
open?
shut up now to
I
prevent
came in to
Qin
teach you a
Yuan
lesson.
from getting angry.
You lazy woman.
Big brother Yuan.
Only then did Madam
Hurry up
Qi
and
realize that Zhu
Don't
Dainiu's
hang
face
around
was
in
dark
front of
and he
me.
looked angry.
I feel annoyed just looking at you.
Madam Qi
Qin
was
Yuan
stunned.
complained.
Then she
When
asked
he saw
nervously,
Zhao Pinger,
Daniel,
it was as if
what
he
did
had
I do
seen
wrong
something
again?
filthy. The good
What did you
impression
do
that he had
wrong?
built up with Zhao
Can't you
Pinger
see
with
what
great
time it
difficulty
is?
was completely
You didn't
wiped
eat
out by
anything
Zhao
wrong.
Xinhui's arrival.
Zhao Pinger
Do you want
pouted,
to starve your
feeling
husband
wronged. or your children?
Oh.
Zhu
Zhao
Dainiu
Ping
questioned angrily.
reluctantly walked to
Madam
the kitchen.
Qi looked puzzled
She
and
was
asked
worried about
meekly,
the situation in
is it
Qin
time
Yuan.
to eat? After Qin Yuan finished scolding Zhao Pinger, he turned to
Chapter
Zhao Xinhui
1190.
with a gentle look
If
on
she
his
had
face.
known the time,
Auntie,
she definitely
why did you
wouldn't have
come to
slept
our
for
house
so long.
today? Are you
Speaking of
here for
which,
me? It was all because
Qin
of this
Yuan
barren
asked
mountain.
excitedly.
If she didn't have
Zhao
sweet
Xinhui
dreams,
nodded.
she naturally
Yes,
wouldn't feel
I'm
that
here
time
for
had
you.
passed so quickly.
Hearing Zhao
Zhu
Xinhui's
Dainiu's
words,
face became
Qin
even
Yuan
colder.
became even more
Are
excited.
you too idle at
Is
home
that
every
so,
day?
Auntie?
You don't even remember the time to cook together.
Do I
His
have to bring
originally
you to
pale
work in the
face
heaven
became
and
much
earth?
rosier. Madam
Yes.
Chi replied weakly.
Zhao
Denyo,
nodded.
don't be angry.
Qin Yuan smiled
I just
shyly
accidentally
and asked,
forgot.
Auntie,
Besides,
what did you come here for?
There's still Mother at home.
Actually,
It's
I don't
nothing
have
much.
to cook dinner alone.
I just need your
Mother
help.
can cook too.
Zhao Xinhui
Madam
said
Chi
calmly.
now put the blame on Mrs.
What is
Zhu.
it, Auntie?
She cussed in
Tell
her
me.
heart. If I
That
can
old
help,
woman had been
I'll
too lazy
definitely
these
help.
days.
She had been counting on her to do the work all day.
Actually,
but
it's
she didn't
nothing
even
much.
reach out to help.
I just need you
Now,
to ask Zhao
she was being
Ping,
scolded
or
by
if she
Zhu
can lend me
Danyu.
her wedding dress.
Zhu Danyu felt that
girl
Madam
is very
Chi was
stingy.
simply hopeless.
I went to ask
This
her to
lazy
lend it to
woman.
me, but
It
she
must be
refused
because he treated her
so
too well.
I can only come
Otherwise,
to you. She
if
wouldn't
you
be
ask
so
her,
lawless.
she'll probably
You're
agree
really
to it.
good at twisting words and forcing logic. You're lazy.
Zhao Xinhui knew very well that it was better to come to Qin Yuan than to beg Zhao Pinger humbly.
She is so diligent.
Even if he begged Zhao Pinger,
she cooks
Zhao
the food
Pinger
well
would
and
still
waits for
refuse.
second brother to come back.
However, it was
But
easy to talk to
you are
Qin
lazy
Yuan.
every 2 to 3
Zhao
days.
Ping was
If
very
you are like
afraid
this
of
again,
Qin Yuan.
if you don't change,
as long as Qin
I will
Yuan
divorce
agreed.
you. What could Zhao
Madame
Pinger's
Qi's
heart tightened when she heard this? If she was divorced, it would be embarrassing when she returned to her maternal family. Women in ancient
Chapter
times were
1209.
most afraid of being
It
divorced
turned out
by their
that Zhao
husbands.
Xinhui had
They
come to
felt
him
that it
not
was a
because she
very
didn't want to get
shameful
married
thing.
anymore and wanted to be
Basically,
with him.
Women who
But
were
because she
divorced by
wanted
their
to borrow
husbands'
Zhao
families
Pinger's
weren't
wedding
welcomed
gown.
back to their maternal
Hence,
families.
it was still impossible
Madame
for him
Qi
and Zhao
thought that
Xinhui
Xue
to be
had
together.
already fallen in love with
He
another
suddenly
woman.
felt a sense
If
of
this
emptiness
gave him an
in his
excuse,
heart.
he
He
would
would
really
very
divorce her.
uncomfortable.
Then she
However,
didn't know
in
what
front
to
of
do.
Zhao Xinhui,
Thus, she hurriedly
Qin
said to
Yuan
Zhu
couldn't
Daniu,
get angry at all.
Chao's father,
He was afraid
don't
that
be
he would
angry.
make Zhao
I'll
Xinhui
cook for you
unhappy.
right now. At the end of the
With
day,
that, he still
Madame
wanted
Qi
to be
quickly
with
got
Zhao
up from the bed
Xinhui.
and ran to the
If he
kitchen
went
with a jolt
overboard
of
at
this
this
time.
Not
Zhao
long
Xinhui
after,
would give
smoke
up on
began
him.
to rise from
Then,
the kitchen.
it would be
and the
even
sound
more
of cooking
impossible
could
for
be
him to be
heard.
with Zhao
Zhu
Xinhui
Daniu
in the
was still
future.
frowning.
Seeing
His
that Qin
face
Yuan
full of
didn't say
displeasure.
anything,
The
Zhao
more he looked
Xinhui
at the
thought
chief
that Qin
family,
Yuan was
the
unhappy,
more he despised
so she
them.
acted coquettishly
What a
and begged,
useless person.
"Can you please let me borrow
Not only
Pinger's
was he
wedding
not
gown?
good looking,
I just
but
want
he
to be
was
a
also
little more
lazy and
glamorous
didn't
when I
like to
get
work all
married.
day.
I
His
can't
house
let
was
people look
filthy.
down on me,
Not
right?
even half as clean
Qin
as his
Yuan,
second brother's
if you
house.
like me and want my
In
best
addition to
interests,
this, you
his wife
definitely
also
can't
liked
like
to
to
see
see
me
me
get
get married
trouble in
in
such
such
a
a
shabby
shabby quarrel
manner.
with other women.
After Zhao
Because of
Xinhui
this,
finished
many
speaking,
men complained
Qin
in front of
Yuan
him
was
and
too
asked him to
embarrassed to
teach
say
Madame
anything,
Qi a lesson.
so he stammered. Previously,
Well,
he still had some leeway in his
Qin
heart.
Yuan,
Can
but
you do
now,
it or not?
he felt that he really
Just say
shouldn't be
something.
soft-hearted.
Don't
He should
dawdle
teach
like
the
this,
Qi family
okay?
a lesson so that they would know
Zhao
the immensity of
Xinhui
heaven
said
and earth.
impatiently, while Madame
She thought
Qi
to
was
herself
cooking,
that Qin
Zhu
Yuan was
Daniu
really
waited in the
stingy.
courtyard with Zhu He was a
Qiaoer.
grown man, but he couldn't even lend
Even
her a
if they
wedding
were
gown.
hungry now,
Qin
there was
Yuan
nothing
afraid
they
that
could do.
Zhao Xinhui
They
would
could
really
only
get
wait
angry,
for Madame
so he
Qi to
frowned and
finish
replied,
cooking before they could
"Auntie,
eat.
It's
Not
not
that I don't want to
Zhu
lend
was
it
too
to you,
hungry,
but this
she
wedding
pulled
gown
Zhu
belongs
Daniu's
to
hand
Zhao
and said
Ping.
coquettishly, "She has
Father,
to
I'm
agree to it
hungry.
herself,
I'm
right?
so hungry that my
Zhao
stomach
Xinhui
hurts."
rolled her eyes at
Qiaoer
Qin
wants
Yuan.
to eat.
Second aunt's food
is
smells
already
so
married
good.
to you.
As
Don't
Zhu
tell me
Qiaoer
you
spoke,
can't even order
she
her
rubbed her
around?
little belly.
Then what's the
Zhu
use of a
Daniu
grown man
frowned.
like you?
Feeling a trace
After
of
being
heartache.
scolded by Zhao
After all,
Xinhui,
she was
Qin
his
Yuan lowered his
biological
head.
daughter. Looking
As
a
a
little
father,
embarrassed, how could he bear to see his child starve?
Don't you and you.
Can't you just say something? If
Chapter
you can't,
1191.
then I'm leaving. Thus,
I don't have
he
time to
comforted
waste
Zhu
with you.
Qiaoer,
Zhao
wait a
Xinhui
moment, said angrily.
Your mother is cooking
Qin
now
Yuan
and will be
hurriedly
done
pulled
soon.
Zhao Xinhui
Bear
back.
with it a little longer.
Auntie, don't leave.
Father is hungry
I
too.
didn't say no.
Zhu
Let me
Qiaoer
talk
said
to
with an
Zhao
aggrieved
Ping.
face.
But can you
Father,
promise me on
but-
one condition?
But what?
Zhao Xinhui
But Qiaoer
frowned
is
when
really
she saw
too
that
hungry.
Qin Yuan was trying to
Zhu
negotiate
Daniu
with
sighed
her.
helplessly.
She replied.
His resentment towards
Conditions?
Madame Qi deepened.
What condition?
It was all
You
that
to say
lazy
it
woman's
first.
fault.
Auntie,
Otherwise,
it's nothing.
his daughter wouldn't have been
It's
starved
just,
to this extent.
Can you give me a kiss?
Zhu Daniu patted
Just
Zhu
the small
Qiaoer's head
kisses
and comforted
you
her.
know that I like you.
All right, Qiaoer.
But Father
As
can't
Qin
make
Yuan
anything
spoke,
for you to
he
eat.
lowered his eyes.
Next time,
looking a
if
little
you're hungry,
disappointed,
don't bear
when
with it
Zhao
yourself.
Xinhui heard
Tell your
Qin
mother
Yuan's
and
condition,
ask her to make
she
something
rolled her
for you.
eyes.
If she
She felt
doesn't
that
cook,
it wasn't a difficult
tell me
thing,
later and see
so
how
she
I'll deal
agreed
with her.
without
hesitation.
Zhu Qiaoer nodded.
Sure, a
Yes,
kiss,
Father.
it's not a big deal.
Qiaoer understands.
With that, Zhao
Good
Ping
girl.
hurriedly kissed
Zhu
Qin
Daniu
Yuan on the
smiled.
cheek. With
With a
Mulan's
smack,
family was
Qin
eating
Yuan's
at the
heart
side.
was stirred by
When
Zhao
she heard
Pinger's
Zhu
kiss.
Qiaoer's words,
Zhao Pinger was
Mulan
in the
couldn't
kitchen.
bear it. Although her brother and sister-in-law were a little weird,
She couldn't help
the
but
children
poke her
were
head
innocent.
out to take a look.
No matter
When
what,
she saw this
Zhu
scene,
Qiaoer was
she
her
almost
niece and called her
exploded in
second
anger.
aunt.
Thus,
this is
Mulan
too much.
waved at Zhu
B
Qiaoer.
asterisk
Come,
TCH.
Qiaoer.
B
Come to
asterisk
second
TCH.
aunt. How
Zhu
shameless.
Qiaoer looked at Zhu
She
Daniu
seduced
and
my
asked
man
for
in
Zhu
broad
Daniu's
daylight
opinion.
and even kissed him
Zhu Daniu
shamelessly.
patted Zhu Qiaoer's head.
Zhao Ping
Go
muttered
Qiaoer.
under her breath.
Yes. If Qin
Zhu
Yuan hadn't
Qiaoer
been standing
responded
by the
and
side,
shyly
went to
Zhao
Mulan.
Ping
would have
she
rushed up
called
to
out
Zhao
to
Xinhui
Mulan,
and ripped
second
Zhao
aunt.
Xinhui's mouth apart.
Qiaoer, are you hungry?
Mulan asked Zhu Chaoer with concern.
Yes.
Zhu Chaoer nodded softly and responded.
Chapter 12:10.
Come, Zhao
Then
Ping,
eat at second
didn't
aunt's
get
place
angry.
first.
After a
Second
while,
aunt will get
she
some
heard
rice
Qin
for you.
Yuan yelling at the top of his
Zhu
lungs.
Chaoer
responded in a weak voice.
Come out.
Children weren't
Zhao
like adults,
Ping
walked
they
over to
wouldn't be
Qin Yuan
unreasonable
with a face full of
refuse.
resentment.
If he was
Hungry,
hungry,
then he
Qin
was
Yuan,
hungry.
she asked.
Since there was a
Brother
chance
Yuan,
to eat,
why did you call
he
me out?
naturally nodded in agreement.
Qin Yuan instructed
Second
indifferently.
sister-in-law,
Take out your wedding
this
dress
is not
and lend
good.
it to your aunt for
Zhu
a day.
Dainyu asked
After Zhao
embarrassedly.
Ping
After
heard
all,
Qin Yuan's words,
they had separated
she was
from the
so
family
angry that her lungs
if they
almost
ate
exploded.
Mulan's food,
She thought
it would
that
be
Qin
taking
Yuan
advantage
would say
of
something.
Mulan's family.
She didn't
Mulan
expect him to
smiled
ask her
and
to
said,
lend her wedding dress
"What's wrong
to
with
Zhao
that?"
Xinhui. It's too much trouble for you.
Xinhui definitely didn't come over
was
for
also
good.
bought with money.
Now, it seemed like she had
Zhu
bragged in
Dainyu
front of
said.
Qin Yuan and
Mulan
directly asked
smiled
Qin
and
Yuan
waved
to
her
lend her
hand.
wedding dress to
It's
Zhao
okay,
Xinhui.
big brother.
Her aunt.
How much food
was
can
really
a child
too
eat?
much.
What
More,
right did she have to
Xiao
treat her
is
like
really
this?
hungry.
Big
Children
brother
should
Yuan,
eat when they're hungry.
This is my wedding dress.
Otherwise, it
I
wouldn't
don't
be
want
good
to
if
lend
they
it to my
starve their
aunt.
stomachs. Zhao
Thank
pouted.
you, second sister-in-law.
You don't want to lend
Zhu
it?
Dainyu said
Qin Yuan's
gratefully.
brows instantly
Big brother,
furrowed.
You are
and
too
he looked
polite.
very unhappy.
Zhao
is also my
niece.
niece. Nodded resolutely.
What's wrong with eating a bowl of rice for my family?
I won't lend
Mulan
it to
said
anyone but my
indifferently.
aunt. These words
In
made
any
Zhu
case,
Dainyu feel
she
even
couldn't
more
let her aunt
uncomfortable.
get away with it.
Thinking about how
She
he
just
treated
couldn't
his
let
second
this
sister-in-law's family.
PCH have her way.
He felt that he had gone
Qin Yuan,
overboard.
that last
They didn't
ping,
care so much about
said
his
she doesn't
family,
want to lend it
but
to
he
you.
kept talking about
Look,
small things
she doesn't
all day
even
long.
listen to a man
As
like
Mulan
you.
spoke,
She doesn't
had
give a
already
damn
scooped
about
a
you
bowl
at
of
all.
rice for Zhu Qiao
Qin
and
Yuan's
handed it to
heartbreak
her.
would spread
Come,
like wildfire.
Qiao, eat. When
Zhu
Qin Yuan
took
took
it
and
this,
began to eat,
his
face instantly darkened. He said
Mulan's
coldly to
family's
Zhao Ping
food
was good.
If you don't
Although
lend
there
it to
wasn't
me
much
today,
meat,
see
the
how I'll
dishes she
deal with you.
stir-fried had more oil
Big
than
brother
ordinary
Yuan.
people.
In
In
addition,
addition, looked at
Mulan
Qin
learned some
Yuan with
cooking
an
skills from
aggrieved
Zhao
expression.
Yuner.
Why
So the
did she have
vegetables
to
she
lend her
stir-fried
things
to her
tasted very
aunt.
good? Don't you understand what I'm saying? Hurry up and bring me
Chapter
your wedding
1192.
Qin Yuan said as he pushed
with
Zhao
relish.
Ping hard. Firstly,
Zhao
she
Ping
was really
lost her
hungry.
balance and fell.
Secondly,
In
her but
Zhu
hit a
Qiao's
stone on the
opinion,
ground and she cried out
Mulan's
in pain.
food
Was much better than
However,
hers.
Qin Yuan
Children were
didn't
very
feel sorry
sensitive
for
to
her
food
at all.
and would eat a lot if
Instead,
it was delicious.
he continued to order
Seeing
Zhao
that
Ping
Zhu Qiao
around.
was eating too quickly.
Why are you still
Zhu
lying on the
Dainyu
ground?
watched from the side.
Why don't you go
he
now?
was afraid that Zhu Qiao
Zhao
would
Ping
choke,
met Qin
so he
Yuan's
said to Zhu
angry
Qiao
eyes
and didn't dare to make a
eat
sound.
slower.
Big
Don't
brother
be in
Yuan.
such a hurry.
I'll go get it now.
Zhu
Qiao looked
As
up
he
and
spoke,
glanced at Zhu Dainyu.
he struggled to get up from the
Then
ground
she
and
wiped
limped
the
towards
corner
his
of her
room.
mouth and said to Zhu
After a
Dainyu,
while,
he took out
Dad,
his wedding dress
second
and
aunt's
handed
food
it
is
to
really
the Qin
delicious.
Yuan. It's
Big
100
brother
times
Yuan.
better than ours.
Here,
Zhao
Qiao
Ping
likes
said
it.
weakly.
At
Zhu
this
Dainyu
moment,
heard Zhu
her heart
Qiao's
was
words
bleeding.
and felt a little
Her
stuffy.
big brother Yuan,
The corner of his mouth
was too
twitched and
much.
he asked. She was
Is
his
that
wife
so?
now. How could he side
Dad,
with another woman
second
and
aunt's
not
food
consider
is
her
really
feelings
much
better
better
than
than
mom's? Qin Yuan
If
took
only
the wedding
Qiao
dress
could
from
eat
Zhao
second
Pinger's
aunt's food
hands
every
and handed
day.
it to Zhao
Zhu
Xinhui said with a
Aunt,
face full of
here.
innocence. This is the
Zhu
wedding
Dainyu
dress.
felt
Uncomfortable
it.
when he heard that. Zhao Xinhui
Children
took it
wouldn't
happily.
lie.
At
That
the
must
same
be the
time,
truth.
she smirked at Zhao
He smelled
Pinger.
the aroma of
She
his
said
sister-in-law's
sarcastically,
food.
Ping, it smelled much
didn't you
better
say
than
that you
Madame
wouldn't lend
Chi's
it to
food.
me?
The corner of his mouth twitched and he said to Zhu Qiao, Look,
Then
you're
continue
still lending
eating.
it to me now? Since you're going
Zhu
to lend it
Qiao
to me
nodded
sooner
heavily
or later,
and
continued to
why
bury
make
her
me
head
go through
and
the
eat
trouble of
happily.
making an extra
Zhu
trip?
Dainyu watched Zhu
You.
Qiao eat with such relish
Zhao
and couldn't
Ping
help but
glared at
swallow a
Zhao
few
Xinhui
mouthfuls of
and bit her
saliva.
lower lip.
He also wanted to
Seeing Zhao
taste Mulan's
Xinhui's
smug
food,
look.
Unfortunately,
She became even angrier.
he was an adult and was too embarrassed to ask
Mulan for food.
She'd better wait and
He could
see.
only watch from the side. Thinking about it, he felt a little stifled. Why was it that other women were all good, but he was the
Chapter
only one who
12,
married
11.
such a lousy
Zhao
wife? Xinhui completely ignored the
he would
look
be
in
able
Zhao
to eat
Pinger's
delicious
eyes.
food
like his second
After
aunt.
getting the wedding gown
After
she
a
wanted,
while,
she didn't want to
Xueqi
waste
swallowed
any
a
more
big
time
bowl
in
of
the
rice
family
into her
chin.
stomach.
Instead,
She looked like she
she
hadn't
bid
had
farewell
enough and said
to
to
Qin
Yuan,
Dainyu.
Since
Mom,
little Ping has
Qiao
lent me the
isn't full
gown
yet.
I
leave
still want
first.
to eat. Qin Yuan
Zhu
felt that she
Dainyu
had
frowned
only stayed
slightly
with
and
Zhao
seemed to be in a
Xinhui
difficult
for a few
position.
minutes.
Didn't
She
you
didn't
eat a
expect
bowl?
Zhao Xinhui
Why
to
aren't you
leave so
full?
soon. She was
Father,
very reluctant to
Qiao
part
is
with
too
her and
hungry,
hurriedly said
so
to
there
Zhao
isn't enough for
Xinhui,
dinner.
Little
Zhu
aunt,
Qiao
aren't you
lowered her
tired
head,
after such a long
feeling
journey?
wronged.
Why don't you
You
take a
won't be
rest at my
hungry
house
after
and
eating
go
a
back
bowl,
after dinner,
right?
I'll
Your
ask my
mother
mother
will be
to
done
cook
in a
more
while.
delicious food for
Then
you.
you can eat your own
Zhao
food.
Xinhui
Zhu
asked softly
Dainyu
in her
comforted
heart.
him.
The family
Father,
Qin was so
Qiao,
poor, or
it would
doesn't
be
want to eat
strange
her
if
own
they had
food.
delicious food.
I want to eat
Why
second
don't I
aunt's
go back
food
by myself?
Can Qiao or eat
When I
some
go
more?
back,
I can
Zhu
ask my
Dainyu
mother
didn't
to
want
cook
to trouble
delicious food
Mulan's
for me.
family anymore.
Because of the generous
After
betrothal
all,
gifts sent
he
by
had
young
eaten a
Master
bowl.
Meng, it wouldn't
Zhao
be good if he
Xinhui
ate
ate
more
meat
for every meal at
Thus,
home
he
these
said
days.
to Zhu Qiao,
Her life was so good
one
that she
bowl is
didn't have
enough.
to stay at the
You
family
can't
Qin.
go overboard and eat so
Therefore,
much.
Zhao Xinhui
Got it.
waved her hand at Qin Yuan and said,
Zhu
"It's
Qiao
okay.
pouted.
I'll
Feeling
go back.
wronged.
I'm not
Seeing
tired."
that Zhu Qiao was
I
still
rented
staring
an
at her
ox cart
family's
to come
dining
here.
table.
They're still
Mulan
waiting
couldn't
for
bear
me.
to see her like this.
I'll take the ox
She
cart
called
back
out
later.
to Zhu Qiao.
The
It's
disappointment
okay.
on Qin
If
Yuan's
Qiao
face
wants
deepened.
to eat,
Little
Second
aunt
aunt
will give you another
Are you
bowl.
really not going to stay for
Second
dinner?
aunt, can I
Qin
really?
Yuan knew that after Zhao Xinhui went
Zhu
back this
Qiao
time,
blinked and looked
she
at
didn't know when
Mulan.
she would be able to
Of
see Zhao
course,
Xinhui again.
Second aunt has a lot
She
of
was
food.
reluctant to part
It's
with
enough
her.
for you to
She
eat.
only hoped that she could stay with Zhao Xinhui for a while longer and see Zhao
Chapter
Xinhui a few more
1193.
times.
This
Mulan
way,
pursed
she
her
would be
lips
more
and smiled
reluctant
at
to part with
Zhu
Zhao Xinhui.
If the child wants to eat,
No,
big brother,
you guys eat.
just let her eat.
I'll leave first.
She won't be able to eat
Zhao
much.
Xinhui said.
It's not easy for her to eat. She was too lazy to argue with Qin
just a
Yuan
bowl of
and
rice.
hurriedly ran out of the
Don't
family
be so
Qin's courtyard.
calculative.
Even after Zhao Xinhui's figure
Big brother,
disappeared,
don't say but.
Qin Yuan still looked reluctant.
Or eat another
Big
bowl.
brother Yuan. As she spoke,
Zhao
Mulan
Ping
filled Zhu
jealously.
Qiao's bowl with rice and
Why are
added
you
more
calling
vegetables
me?
into it. Hurry up and
Seeing
get busy
Zhu
in the
Qiao
kitchen.
or eating so
Qin
happily,
Yuan said
she
to
felt
Zhao
a little
Ping
heartache.
fiercely. Thinking
Then,
about his
he
sister-in-law's
dragged his
children,
weak body into
they
the
were too
room.
pitiful.
The Xuelan
They
village
basically
was
didn't
very
eat
lively.
well.
Because
His sister-in-law's
Zhao
family's
Xinhui's held a
food was
joyous
really
occasion.
bad.
There
Early
wasn't
in the
much
morning,
oil in the
the sound
vegetables,
of firecrackers
so how
could be
could the
heard,
children grow up after
crackling
eating
non-stop.
All of the
Young
children
Master
were as
Meng's
thin as
wedding
monkeys
reception
and
couldn't
didn't
grow
grow
to be
much
very
taller.
grand.
Then,
Many
he looked
people
at
were
his
arranged
children.
to come.
Because the
For
food
young
conditions
Master
had
Meng's
improved
wealth,
during this period,
this kind of
they ate
extravagance
well.
was nothing.
They had also
But for the
grown
villagers,
taller and stronger.
they had never seen
Their
such
complexions
luxurious
had also
palanquins
become
and
much
horses.
rosier. He felt that Zhao
Unfortunately, they had to
Xinhui
live
was
their
really
own
lucky
lives.
to be able to climb
After
up to such
splitting
a
from the
rich family.
family, at most,
She directly
he
flew
could let
out
his
of the
nephews and
mountain nest
nieces
became
come
a
over for a few
phoenix.
meals.
It really
He
made
couldn't let
everyone
them
eat
envious.
every day.
Many
In the
people in
end,
the village
her
were
big brother
discussing.
and sister-in-law's
During this
family
period
had
of
to
time,
improve their food
old
conditions.
Zhao's family had
At
joyous
this moment,
occasions year after
Zhu
year.
Sanlu and Mrs.
It
Zhu
made
came
people
out of the
jealous.
room.
How
Zhu
long
Sanlu
had it been?
muttered,
Mother, why hasn't big sister-in-law finished cooking? The two
I'm about to
unmarriageable
starve
ladies
to
in the
death.
family were married off
Mrs.
one
Zhu
after
also
another.
frowned and muttered,
Although Zhao
"That's
Ping'er's
right.
family was a
This
little
eldest
inferior.
daughter-in-law is
She
too
had married
lazy.
a normal person.
Who knows what she's
Moreover,
busy with all day?
Qin Yuan's appearance
She hasn't
was
even
pretty.
finished cooking.
As for Zhao
Who's going to
Xinhui,
starve to
it
death?
was needless to say.
After muttering,
After
she
marrying
said
a
to
rich
Zhu
man,
Daniu,
she could
I
be
say
said to have a
Daniu,
good
if you
life
have
in the
time,
future.
you should discipline
She did
your
not
wife.
need to live such a
What
hard
time
life
is it
as a
now?
villager.
Isn't
There were
this
even
too
many
outrageous?
rumors that old Zhao's family had a
Daniu
good
replied
ancestral
faintly,
grave and protected
Mother,
their
I
descendants.
understand.
Therefore,
Each of them
it's
had a
good that
better
you
life than the
understand.
other.
Mom, I'm so hungry.
I want to eat. I'm so hungry that my head is dizzy. I can't read. Chapter 12.
Zhu Sanlu
pulled Mrs. Zhu's
Zhao
sleeve
Yuner
and
was
said,
even better.
Old Madame Zhu
She had a
replied,
relationship with the heir
Isn't
of the
your
crown
eldest
prince,
sister-in-law
which
busy
was
in the
better
room?
than young Master
She'll
Meng.
eat in a while.
Sigh.
Isn't
Old
Yang
Zhao's
also
ancestral
waiting with an
grave is
empty
emitting
stomach?
smoke.
Who asked
We
your
can't even be
sister-in-law to be
envious.
lazy? Isn't
Mrs.
that
Zhu
so?
was full of disdain
No matter
for
how
Mrs.
hard we
Qi.
work, how
She
hard we
deliberately
work,
raised
and
her
how good
voice
our
so
luck
that
is,
Mrs. Qi,
it's not
who
as
was
good
in the
as their
kitchen,
ancestors,
could hear her.
Old Zhao's
Madame
family
Qi didn't
doesn't have
hear it,
ordinary
and the
happy
corners
events.
of her mouth twitched.
They are all very happy
Really?
events.
Her
Let's
mother-in-law
not talk
was
about
too
the children's
despicable.
marriages.
She was the one who
I
was
heard
too
that
lazy
old
to
Zhao's
cook.
eldest
But now
grandson
she
went
was
directly
blaming
to the
her.
capital to
He
study
had
this
never
year.
seen such a
He will
shameless
definitely
old
pass
woman.
the exam
Madame
and come
Qi
back as a
couldn't wait to
high-ranking
teach
official.
Mrs.
Zhu a lesson.
TSK.
Unfortunately,
TSK.
her man was protecting
TSK.
Mrs. Zhu now,
Where in
so
the
she couldn't
surrounding
do it.
villages can a
Madame
high-ranking
Qi
official
thought that
come
when she had
from?
money,
Old
bought new
Zhao's
clothes,
family is
and dressed
amazing.
herself up,
Yes.
Zhu Daniu would
Yes.
change his mind
It's
about
a
her.
pity that we can't
When he was
think
on
of
her
it.
side,
We
she
can't
would deal
even
with
be
Mrs. Zhu,
envious.
and Zhu
We can
Daniu
only
wouldn't
ask
say
a feng
anything
shui
about
master
her.
to come over
When
and
that
take a
time
look at our
came,
ancestral
she would
grave.
teach Mrs. Zhu a lesson.
Let's
see if it can be like old Zhao's family. Mother, happy events
eldest
are coming
sister-in-law
one after
didn't
another.
cook.
Isn't
I
second
wouldn't have
sister-in-law's
thought of it
if
food
you didn't
edible.
mention it. Look at how
I'll
happy
also ask
Chower
a
is
feng
eating.
shui master to
Mother,
take a look.
I want to eat
Ever
at
since
second
my father was
sister-in-law's
buried,
place too.
my family has
Zhu
been
Sanlu
unlucky.
tugged at Mrs.
Let's
Zhu's
see if
sleeve
our
as he
ancestral
spoke.
grave can
Then his
improve
eyes
our
fell
luck.
on Mulan's
That's
table.
for sure.
Hurry up. This matter can't be delayed. Chapter 1194.
I know.
Mrs. Zhu said
I'll ask around tomorrow
and
called
find
out
out
to
where I can
Mulan.
invite a feng shui
Second
master.
daughter-in-law.
Did
In
you
the courtyard
hear
of old Zhao's
There's
house.
still so much
The
food
people who
left in
came
your
to attend the
house.
wedding banquet
If your
sat
younger
together and
brother-in-law
chatted
is
about
hungry,
it. They
hurry
talked
up and
about
give
the
him a
matter
bowl.
in an extremely
Mulan's
mysterious
face
way.
darkened when she
However,
heard Mrs. Zhu's
the villagers
command.
were superstitious
She gave it
and
to
felt
Zhu
that these
Qiao
rumors
because
were
she was
very
willing.
reasonable.
But she
Otherwise,
would rather give it to
they
a
couldn't
pig
think
than
of
give
any
it to
reason
Zhu
why
Sanlu.
old Zhao's family
Thus,
would
she
suddenly have a
replied
change of
unhappily,
fortune.
Mother,
There were so
we've
many
already
happy
separated
events in
from
a
the
year.
family.
They
What does
probably
it have
have
to
to
do
do
with
with
me
me
whether my
family
younger
in the
brother-in-law
surrounding
is hungry
villages.
or not?
In Zhao
I can give the
Xinhui's
food in
room,
my house to
Zhao
whoever I want want to
was
eat.
dressing herself
Do
up
I
in
need
front
you
of the
to
mirror.
command me?
After applying rouge and
Mulan's
face
attitude
powder,
made
wearing
Mrs. Zhu
jewelry,
very angry.
and wearing Zhao
Mrs.
Pinger's
Zhu
wedding
replied
dress,
unhappily.
Zhao Xinhui was
Second
more gorgeous
daughter-in-law,
than usual.
why are you like
She
this?
looked delicate and
Didn't
beautiful,
you say that there's
like
a lot
great
of food
beauty.
in your house?
Not to mention
If you
the
give
men,
it to Chower,
even the
why
women
don't
in the
you give
room
it to
couldn't
my
help
Lu?
but sigh in their hearts.
In any case,
This was especially
Lu is
true
your
for the
younger
other
brother-in-law.
branches.
As his
Seeing Zhao
sister-in-law,
Xinhui
how
like
can you be
this,
so
they
stingy
felt
with
very
him?
uncomfortable in their
Chower
hearts.
is just a girl.
Especially Li
She's a good
Chuiying
for
and
nothing.
Zhao Jing.
You've already given it to
Originally,
her.
Zhao
So you must
Jinger
give
and
it to
young
your
Master
younger
Zhang's
brother-in-law
marriage
was
today.
settled.
She had
Mulan
given
didn't
young
know where
Master
Mrs.
Zhang
Zhu
such
got
good
this logic
conditions.
from.
which was
She
considered
sneered and
very
confronted
good.
Mrs.
However,
compared to
Mother,
Zhao Xinhui,
your words are really
it seemed
interesting.
insignificant.
If I don't give it to
After
third
all,
brother today,
young Master Meng's
what can you
family
do?
was much better than young
You.
Master Zheng's
Second daughter-in-law.
Zhao Jing,
Is this how you talk to your mother-in-law?
older than her and
You
couldn't
have
get
no
married at her
manners.
age.
Why
She
did
should
our
marry
old
someone
family
with poor
Zhu marry a
conditions.
piece of trash like
Who knew
you?
that Zhao Xinhui
Mulan's
was
so
brows
lucky.
knitted together, and she looked very unhappy. Seeing that his
Seeing
wife
that
was
Zhao
being bullied,
Xinhui was gorgeously
Zhu
dressed,
stood up
with
and
a golden
defended
bracelet
Mulan.
on her wrist,
Mother,
a golden hairpin in
third
her
brother
hair,
is a grown
and a
man.
large round pearl
Why
around
is
her
he
neck.
competing with
The
a
jealousy
Zhao,
in her
a
heart grew
child?
stronger.
If you give
Young
it to
Master
Zhao,
Zhang did not
do
give
you
her
have
such
to
a
give
good
it to
thing.
third brother?
Why was
You've
it that
gone
even
too
her
far
aunt
by
was
saying
able
that
to
about
marry better
Mulan.
than her?
Even
Li
if your
Chueying
mother-in-law
stood at the
or
side
an
and
elder,
couldn't help but
you
roll
have
her
to be
eyes.
reasonable. Aren't you,
You
dressed
can't
up to
bully
seduce
people for
people
no
like a
reason,
vixen,
right?
Old
Zhao
Madame
Jing
Zhu
angrily
angrily pointed at
Zhu
and
Eru.
naggingly Chueying's
Good.
ear. Mother,
This old
keep
woman
your
really
voice
gave
down.
birth to an
Don't
ungrateful
let
rat.
Aunt hear you. She
Chueying
painstakingly gave birth
didn't
to him
care.
for 10 months
So
and
what
raised
if
him up
she
with a
hears?
handful of sage
What's there to
tea
be
and
afraid
urine.
of? Now that
Anyway,
he's married,
I'm telling
he
the
forgets
truth.
his mother and actually
I'm not
treats
talking
me like
nonsense. I don't want to live anymore. What's the point of living like this? Zhu Eru's mouth
Chapter
twitched
12,
uncontrollably. At the
His
end
mother
of the day,
was really
she was still
unreasonable.
very envious of her
He
aunt.
kept saying these
At
words
least
all
he
day
didn't marry
long.
her aunt so
If
that she
Mrs.
could
Zhu
give
had
birth
been a
to
little
a
more
child.
reasonable and treated
Of course,
Mulan and her
it was
children
because
better,
young Master
Zhu
Zhang
Eru
married her
wouldn't
so
have
that she
treated
could give
Mrs. Zhu
birth
like
to a
this.
child.
In the
If she
end,
couldn't give birth
it
to
was
a
all
son
this
for
old
young
woman's
Master
own
Zhang,
doing.
her
Zhu
fate in the
Daniel
future could be
watched
said
from
to
the
be very
side.
miserable.
This matter
Unlike
started
her
because
aunt,
of Zhu
it didn't
Chaoer.
matter whether she
His
could give
second brother
birth
and
to a
second
child or
sister-in-law
not had kindly
young
scooped
Master
some
Zhang
food for
still
Zhu
sent all
Chaoer
these
to
good things
eat.
over.
He couldn't
Seeing
implicate
Zhao
his
Xinhui
second
dressed so
sister-in-law.
luxuriously,
Thus, he
Zhao
stood up
Jinger
and
felt
said to
very
Zhu
upset.
Taida, Mother,
Seeing
I
what
don't want
Zhao
to say
Jinger
this,
was thinking,
but this matter is
Li
indeed your
Chueying
fault.
hurriedly comforted Zhao Jinger.
Third brother
don't
is a
be
grown
fooled
man.
by how pretty your
If
aunt
he's
is.
hungry, he
It's
should endure
useless.
it. Aren't
She's
I
still a
also
little younger
enduring
now
it?
and can catch young
Chaoer is
Master
a
Meng's
child.
eye.
Just
Naturally,
you wait. She can't be
when she's
compared
older
to us
and her
adults.
face isn't so pretty
When
anymore.
Zhu Daniu said
Let's
this,
see if young
Mrs.
Master
Zhu
Zhang will
snorted
still treasure her
softly.
then.
You're
He'll
great
probably
now.
drive her back to
You're
our
speaking
hometown.
up for your second
But
brother and
Jing,
second sister-in-law.
you're different.
If
Zhu
you can give
Daniu's
birth to a
mouth
child for
twitched.
young Master
Mother,
Meng, I'm not.
It'd be best if
I'm
you can
just
give birth to a
speaking the
chubby
truth.
little boy.
Look at
Then
you.
your status
You
in
don't
young
even
Master
want to
Meng's
hear the
family
truth.
will be consolidated
You
in the
only
future.
know how to protect
No
third
matter
brother.
whether you'll grow
If
old
this
and
goes
ugly in
on,
the future,
third brother
as long
will
as you have a
definitely be
child,
spoiled
the
by
Meng
you.
family will treat you well.
After being comforted by Li Chueying, Chapter
Zhao Jinger
1195,
thought about it and agreed.
She thought for a
Young
moment
Master
and put the
Meng was
blame on
interested in
Madame
her aunt's
Qi.
face,
Daniu,
while young
in the
Master
end,
Zhang was interested
isn't
in
it
her
because
giving
of
birth
your
to a
wife?
child for him so that he
Lazy
could carry
thing.
on the Zhang
You
family's
still haven't
bloodline.
finished cooking.
People would grow
You're
old and
starving your
ugly,
third brother.
so giving birth to a
Zhu
child is more
Daniu
secure.
could only agree.
Zhao Jinger's
Yes,
expression
yes.
softened a little.
Mother,
She
I'll talk
nodded
to
at
her
Li
later.
Chueying and said,
Mulan
Mother,
couldn't be
I
bothered with
understand.
Madame Zhu and
Li
called the
Chueying
family to
chuckled in
continue
response.
eating. The
And
fragrant smell
it's
made
good that
Zhu
you
Sanlu
understand.
salivate.
After Zhao
Unfortunately,
Xinhui was
he
done
could
with her
only
makeup,
watch from the side
she
and couldn't
deliberately
eat
asked
it.
the people in the room.
After a while,
How is
Madame
it?
Qi finished
Do I look
cooking and
good
called
like
the
this?
first branch's family to
Zhao
start eating.
Xinhui grinned
Madame
and looked at
Qi
herself
only
in the
made
mirror.
3 dishes.
She was
a
very
plate of
satisfied,
stir-fried wild
but
vegetables,
she also
a
hoped to
plate
get
of
the
small
affirmation
vegetables,
of the others
and
in
a
the
plate
room.
of green beans.
That was how people
There
were.
wasn't much oil
They
in the
liked to be
vegetables.
praised. After
Only
boiling
then
them
would
with
they
plain
feel a
water,
sense of
she
accomplishment.
dripped 2 drops of
Hua
sesame
Chunhua,
oil into
who
them.
was standing at the
It
side,
didn't look very
praised
appetizing.
Zhao Xinhui to the
However,
heavens. Everyone was
she's
hungry
beautiful.
now. Of course,
Usually
she's beautiful.
it was
more or less the same.
My daughter is
so
as
they made
beautiful
do
as
with
a
it and
flower.
started eating.
Those who don't
Zhu
know would
Daniu
think that
picked
she's
up
a
a
fairy
green
who has
bean and put
descended
it in
to
his
the mortal
mouth.
world.
After
If
tasting
young
it,
Master Meng
he
lifts
spat
the
it
red
out.
veil at night
Madame
and sees
Qi
such a
looked at
beautiful
Zhu
face,
Daniu in confusion.
won't he be infatuated?
Chaoer's father,
Zhao
what's wrong with
Xinhui
you? Lowered her head
Why
shyly.
did you spit it out
Mother,
when you were eating?
Your compliments are
Zhu
too
Daniu
fake.
glared at
Even
Madame
if I'm
Qi.
good-looking,
You still
it's
have
not
the
like
cheek
what
to
you
say
said,
that.
right? Why don't you taste it
Chunhua
yourself and
chuckled
see
and
what
said,
it is?
That's right.
At this time,
My Hui
Madame
is
Zhu
so
also
pretty.
put a green bean
It's
into
said
her
that
mouth
clothes
and then
make the
quickly
man.
spat it
out.
and gold make the
Ba,
Buddha.
ba, ba.
It's so salty.
You're even prettier
so salty.
than the young miss of a
I
prominent
say,
family.
eldest daughter-in-law, how much salt did you put in? Do you
Look
want
at me
these
to die
glittering
of
hairpins, bracelets,
Madam
and
Chi
earrings?
pursed her lips and felt
Who wouldn't
wronged.
say that they're beautiful?
I don't
While
know.
Hua Chunhua
I
was
was a little
praising her,
anxious just
she
now.
also called out to
I don't
Li
know how
Chuiying
much
and
salt
Zhao
I put
Jing.
in.
Maybe I
Second
accidentally
daughter-in-law,
put it twice.
Jing.
Tell
Madam
me,
Chi was
isn't
nervous
Hui
and
beautiful
faintly
today?
worried that Zhu Dainiu would scold her again. Sure enough, Zhu Dainiu angrily scolded. What's the use of marrying
Chapter
a woman
12,
like you?
14.
You didn't cook
Although
when we came
Li
back,
Chuiying said
and now
so,
that you've cooked,
she did not think
it's
so in her
disgusting.
heart.
If
How can I
Jing
eat it?
or could wear such beautiful
Mrs. Zhu
clothes,
agreed
wear
from
so
the
much
side.
jewelry,
Heh,
and dress up well,
isn't that so?
she would definitely
Our
look better
eldest
than Zhao
daughter-in-law
Xinhui.
is really capable.
After Li Chuiying
Even
finished
pigs
speaking,
wouldn't want to eat the
Hua
food that she
Chunhua
makes.
could not stop smiling.
You put so much
She
salt
kept
in the
whispering
dishes.
in Zhao Xinhui's
You're really
ear.
rich. Did you hear that?
Afraid of wasting
Your
it.
second sister-in-law
Madam
is
Chi
praising
felt
you.
very wronged.
If everyone thinks you look good,
I was just being
then
careless.
you must look good. I'll just make
The
do with
corners of
it.
Zhao
It should
Xinhui's
be
mouth
fine,
could not
right?
help but curl
This
up.
dish is salty.
She was very
but there
proud
are
of
still
herself.
2 other dishes.
Jing
Why
hasn't
don't you
said
try it
anything
again?
yet.
Jinger, what they
face
say
was
is
still
wrong.
calm.
Tell me,
He snorted
do I
and
look
tasted
good like
the remaining
this?
2 dishes.
Zhao Xinhui
These 2
trusted
dishes
the
were not
judgment of
salty,
people her age,
but they were bland and
her
tasteless.
second sister-in-law
It
and
was
her mother were
impossible
at
to
her
swallow
age.
them.
How could they
Clang.
know whether she was
Zhu
beautiful
Dainyu
or
slammed
not?
his chopsticks on
Zhao
the table.
Jing,
How am I
glanced at
supposed to
Zhao
eat
Xinhui.
this? The corners
It
of her mouth
tastes
could not
awful.
help but twitch.
I say,
My
her
eldest
expression was
daughter-in-law,
very ugly.
You've been married for
In her
so many
opinion,
years. Zhao
why is your
Xinhui
cooking
was showing
still
off
so
in front
bad?
of her. There was
She was
no
already
improvement
very
at all.
jealous. It's
When
useless.
Zhao Xinhui deliberately said that,
Mother,
her heart
my
felt like it
cooking
was being
skills
cut
have
by a
always
knife.
been like this. Jinger,
No one
tell me
taught me.
quickly. Why are you in a daze? Old Madame
Zhao
Zhu angrily
Xinhui
said.
urged. You still
Zhao
need someone
Jing
to teach you
pursed
this?
her lips. Are you a pig's
Auntie,
brain? What are you
You've
talking
already
about?
figured it out
Of
by
course
yourself.
I look good.
Tonight's
I look
3
very
dishes
good.
have been wasted by you
Zhao
for nothing.
Xinhui sighed.
No matter how
Well,
rich my
in that
family
case,
Zhu
I'm
is,
relieved.
I can't afford to be
Chunhua
tormented by
beckoned
you.
Zhao
Xinhui and said, Come, when you're done, quickly cover your head with the red veil.
1196.
The people who are going to pick you up will be here soon.
Twitched.
She did not expect Madame
Chi
to retort.
Okay,
You want
Mother,
me to do
know.
it?
With
Then
that,
why did our family
she covered her
Zhu
head
marry
with
you?
the red veil.
You don't even
When
do
Zhao
housework.
Xinhui was done
Do you
and
want
waiting
us
in the
to
room,
serve you like an
Chunhua
ancestor?
saw that Li
Why
Chuanying
don't
was
you
still
take a
in the
look
room.
at yourself?
She said to Li
If you can
Chuanying
earn money
unhappily.
for our family Zhu,
Second daughter-in-law,
then forget
what
it.
are you doing in the room?
You have to rely
Your
on our
sister-in-law
family
is
Zhu to
busy
support
outside.
you. You have
Why
to
don't
be
you
more
hurry
diligent.
over and help? Mrs.
Li
Zhu lectured
Chuanying had
Madame Chi
deliberately stayed
angrily.
in Zhao
Zhu
Xinhui's house
Dainyu
to
said
slack
from the
off.
side.
There were
Mother
so
is
many
right.
things going on outside.
You're a woman.
It was
Didn't
not
we
her
marry you
Jinger's
to let
wedding.
you do housework?
So why did she have to
Which
worry so
woman
much?
doesn't cook at home?
Mother,
Look at
I
second
can't bear to
sister-in-law.
part with little sister.
She's busy earning
If his
money
little
in Young
sister got
City all
married,
day long.
he didn't know how
When
long
she
it would be
comes
before
back,
he could see his
she'll
little
prepare
sister
the food
again.
well.
So he couldn't
She's
bear to part
busier
with
than
her.
you every day,
Right
right?
now, I just
When
want to take
Zhu
a few
Dainyu
more
said
glances
this,
at my little sister
Madame
so
Chi
that I won't miss
responded
her
with
in
an
the
aggrieved
future.
voice.
Li
What could
Chuanying
she say
said
when he
hypocritically.
compared her to Mulan?
After saying this,
Who asked
even
Mulan
she
to be
herself
so
felt that
silly?
it was very fake.
She was so diligent
Chunhua
every day,
snorted
even after
coldly.
earning money.
Naturally,
She was not
she had
like
guessed Li
Mulan.
Chuanying's thoughts.
Madame Chi's
Enough.
eyes turned.
Don't talk about
After
this.
thinking for a while,
Who
she
doesn't
said to
know
Zhu
that you're
Dainyu,
slacking off?
Dainyu,
Hurry
if I
up
can
and
earn
help
a lot
out.
of money like second
You're
sister-in-law,
still wasting
then
time
can
in the
you let me
room.
do less housework?
You're busy now.
Can you let
When
Mother do the
Huiyer's
cooking,
parents pick her
washing
up,
dishes, and
we'll
washing
have to start
clothes?
the banquet.
Madame Chi
Li
was
Chuanying
thinking about the
reluctantly
barren
dawdled for a
mountain that she
while
bought
before slowly walking
Later,
outside.
Zhao Yun
Okay,
would definitely
Mother,
buy
I'll
it
go
from her
now.
at a high price.
What Chunhua pointed
Then
at
she
Zhao
would be
Jinger
able
and
to
said,
earn a lot of money.
Jinger, don't slack
Zhu
off.
Dainyu glanced at Madame Chi.
Thinking that Madame Chi was dreaming,
Hurry
he
up
said
and help
softly,
out.
If you
This
can
is
earn
your
money
aunt's
like
wedding.
second sister-in-law,
Everyone is
then won't we
hungry.
treat you like an ancestor
Hurry up
at
and
home?
help out. Why would we
Zhao
let you do
Jinger
any
was
work?
unwilling, but she
Madame
did not
Chi
dare to
blinked
say
and looked at
anything
Zhu
to Hua
Dainyu
Chunhua.
expectantly.
She could only
Dainyu,
nod and say,
is what you said
okay.
true?
If I can
Grandmother,
earn
I
money,
know.
then I really
With
don't
that,
have to do any
she did
work
the
at
same
home.
thing as Li Chuanying.
Without waiting for Zhu
Out of the
Dainyu to
room.
answer, in the
Old
courtyard
Madame
of
Zhu
old
echoed from
Zhao's
the
house,
side.
several women were busy.
Eldest
daughter-in-law, don't talk nonsense. If you come back with 3 to 5 taels of silver, this old woman will work like a horse for you. You don't
Chapter
have to do
12,
anything.
15.
If
Mrs.
there was
Zhu
no one to
said this
help,
because she was
the
sure
chef
that
would not
Madame
be
Chi
able to
could
handle
not earn that
everything by
money.
himself.
Hearing Mrs.
Because
Zhu's
there were
words,
many women in old
Zhu
Zhao's
Dainyu
family.
nodded in agreement.
They did not invite others to help like
but
Zhao
I don't
Yun's
think about
family
it.
did.
Hua
You have to
Chunhua
earn
was
money
reluctant
first
to
to
give
give
away
away
the
the leftover
leftover
dishes
dishes
at the banquet
It's
after
useless
inviting
to say
others.
it now.
She felt that it
Madame
was better to
Chi's
keep them for
expression.
herself.
That's
Moreover,
good.
She
Zhao
was just
Yun's
waiting to make
family
money
invited
from
others
Zhao
because they were
Yun.
really too busy.
Old Madame Zhu
They
and the
handle
others
it.
had better
So
remember
there was
what
no
they
need
said.
for them to be so
Just
wasteful.
then, Zhao
In
Yuner
addition to
came to the
Feng
door and
Zhongxia,
looked like she was
there was
coming in
another
a
person
menacing
who did
manner.
more work.
Mulan
It
thought
was
that
the
Zhao
fourth
Yuner
branch's
was looking for
daughter-in-law,
her, so she
Shen
stepped forward
Zhonghu.
and asked Zhao
Li
Yuner,
Chuanying was the
Yuner,
laziest
why are
one.
you looking for me now?
Seeing Li Chuanying come
Zhao
over,
Yun
Feng
shook her
Zhongxia
head hurriedly
Mulan.
greeted her.
Sister-in-law Mulan,
why are you so late?
I'm not looking for you.
Hurry up and wash
I'm
the
looking
for your eldest sister-in-law.
We still need to use them to fill the dishes later.
Zhao Yuner in
Li
confusion.
Chueying saw that she was asked to wash the dishes
why are you
and said
looking for my
unwillingly,
eldest sister-in-law?
Why should I do the dirtiest and
Zhao
most
Yuner
tiring
curled
work?
her lips and her eyes were
Feng
cold.
Zhangxia looked at Li
Of course
Chueying
I have something to
speechlessly
do
and
with
said,
him.
Madam,
Qi
you
saw
didn't help
Zhao
us just
Yun
now.
are coming over.
What's wrong with asking
Not
you
only
to do
was she
more
not
work
afraid,
now? But she was
You-
also a little proud.
Li Chueying
The
wanted
more
to
excited
refute,
Zhao
but found
Yun
that she
was,
could not
the
find
more
any
important
reason.
this barren mountain was to
Sister-in-law,
her.
hurry
Then
up
she
and
could
wash
ask for
the
a higher
dishes.
price and earn more
Otherwise,
money. When mother
by
comes
then,
out and sees that we
wouldn't you
haven't
deign
washed the
treat her
dishes,
well?
she will nag again.
I know.
I'll wash them.
Li
Chapter
Chuang angrily
1197.
squatted in front of the wooden
Zhao
basin
Yun
with the dishes
sneered,
and began to
"I'm
wash
here to
them.
deal with that B**
Feng Zhangxia saw
TCH.
Zhao Jing'er and
Madam
called her
Qi
over.
naturally knew that the
Jing'er,
B**
come
TCH
here.
come and
Zhao
help.
Yun was
There's
referring
still
to
a lot
her.
of work to do.
She huffed angrily at
Seeing
Zhao
Feng
Yun,
Zhangxia calling
Zhao
Zhao Jing'er
to
to
do
her
work.
mouth.
Li
Who are
Chuang
you
was
calling a
unhappy
B**
and said to Feng Zhangxia,
TCH?
"Sister-in-law,
Of
it's
course
fine
I'm
if I do
talking
work.
about you.
Why do you ask
Zhao
my
Yun
Jing'er
sneered and
to
took
do
a few
work
steps
too?
forward.
Let her rest
When she was in
somewhere
front
else."
of Qi,
She
she
kicked
kicked
Qi
Qi's
stomach
stomach
a
a
few
few
times.
times.
She was
Madam
already
Qi was
upset
kicked to
today,
the ground all of a
and
sudden
now she
and
still
cried
had
out
to
in
work.
pain. Second
Ouch,
sister-in-law, help.
Isn't it because we
Madam
don't
Qi
have
lay
enough
on the ground
manpower?
and yelled,
As if she was
Jing'er
afraid that
happens to
no
be
one
free.
would know.
What's
The
wrong
more
with helping?
onlookers there were,
Feng
the better.
Zhangxia said
They would
indifferently.
know that Zhao
Li
Yun was
Chuang's brows
unreasonable
knitted
and a bully.
together.
She felt that
Zhu
Feng
immediately
Zhangxia was
frowned.
twisting words and
Although he
forcing
didn't
logic.
treat Madam Qi well,
She happened to catch
he
a
still
glimpse
had
of
to look at the
Shen
owner
Panner,
before
who
beating a
was
dog.
sitting motionlessly to
Zhao
the
Yun
side.
or hitting Madam
She said
Qi
to
like
Li
this was a
Chuang,
slap to his face.
"Sister-in-law, you told
She
my
didn't
Jing'er
take him
not to help,
seriously at
but
all.
look at your daughter-in-law.
Zhu Daniu pulled
Why
Madam
isn't
Qi
she
up from the
helping?
ground and asked
What
Zhao
right
Yun
do you have to order my
why did you
Jing'er
hit her?
around?"
Can't you make
Feng
things
Zhangxia
clear?
knew that Li
We're from the
Chuang was
same
complaining
village.
about her
How
preferential
can you
treatment.
hit her just like that?
She pursed her lips and said to
Zhao
Li
Yun
Chuang,
snorted and
"My
said,
Panner has to
"Why
take
do
care
I
of
need to
Yang
reason
Yang,
with a B**
your Jing,
TCH?
or doesn't
I'm
have
in
to
a
take
bad
care of the
mood.
child?"
I just want to
Li
hit
Chuang
her."
rolled his eyes
Zhu
at Feng
Daniu's
Zhangxia.
mouth twitched.
Sister-in-law,
He felt that
you've been
things weren't
saying
that
this for more
simple.
than 3 years.
He knew that Zhao
because
Yun
of this, or wasn't
Panner
an
has never done
unreasonable
any
person.
housework since she
His
married
wife
into
must have
our
done
old
something
Zhao's
outside
family.
to offend Zhao Yun. So Zhao Yun came to hit her.
Now
Thus,
that Yang
he
Yang
frowned
is all
and asked
grown up,
Madam Qi,
why can't she
"Tell
leave?
me honestly,
Can't
did you
she
do
just
something
put the
wrong to
child
her and
aside
offend
and
her?"
watch him?
Madam
Must she
Qi
hold
pursed
him in
her
her
lips in
arms?
grievance.
He's not a baby who
Daniu,
can't
I
walk.
didn't. Li
I'm your
Chuang's
wife.
words made
No
Feng
matter
Zhangxia
what,
very
you have to
uncomfortable in
protect
her
me.
heart.
You can't
My
protect an
Panner is
outsider.
different.
She comes
Daniu
from a
was
well-off
silent for a
family.
moment.
Marrying
What
into
Madam
our
Qi
old
said
Zhao's
was
family
right.
is not good
If
for
his
her.
wife was bullied
How
too
can we
badly
let her
and
do
he, as a
housework?
husband, stood by and watched, he would be laughed at. So he said to Zhao Yun, "Zhao Yun, you can't be unreasonable. Otherwise,
Chapter 12:16.
we'll go back and argue with
You.
Li Zhang."
Feng
Zhao
Zhangxia
Yun
was
looked at Li
angry.
Chuang angrily.
What was she afraid of?
Although she knew that Li
Let's
Chuang
argue
was
with
telling
Li
the
Zhang.
truth,
But
she didn't
before
want to
that,
hear it.
I have to teach her a
Eldest
lesson.
sister-in-law,
With
don't
that,
treasure your
Zhao
eldest
Yun
daughter-in-law,
grabbed Madam Qi
she should
and
help
kicked her
when
to the
she
ground.
needs help.
She pulled her
She
hair
can't
and
cut
slapped
cook,
Madam Qi's
but she
face
can
a
at
few
least
times.
help me wash the dishes, right?
Feng
Both
Zhangxia's
sides of
eyes
Madam
darkened.
Qi's face were
She
bleeding
didn't want
and
to say
swollen.
anything at first.
She
But at
screamed
this
miserably
time,
as if she was a
Chunhua
pig
walked
being
out and said to
slaughtered.
Feng
The
Zhangxia,
Zhu family was
eldest daughter-in-law,
dumbfounded by
I
what
think
they saw.
second-daughter-in-law is
They had
right.
seen men break
Pan
ribs when
are
they
actually
fought.
married into our
Now that they
hometown,
saw Zhao
so she
Yun
has
or
to
teach
teach Madam
housework.
Qi a lesson.
Let her do
The
it
others
quickly.
were simply too weak.
It's so busy today,
Zhao
and
Yun
everyone
was
is
ruthless.
busy.
Why
Not to
can't she
mention
rest
hitting
alone?
Madam Qi's body.
Since Hua
Even
Chunhua
the
had
onlookers
spoken,
felt the pain when they
Feng
saw it.
Zhangxia couldn't say
Mulan
anything
was
else.
frightened. She
She
only
wondered
shout
why
at
Zhao
Shen
Yun was
Pan
so ruthless.
Pan or
His
girl?
sister-in-law
Shen
didn't seem
Pan
to have done
or heard
anything.
Feng Zhangxia shout
How did she
and
make
what Li
Zhao
Chuang
Yun
said
so
just
angry?
now.
Of
She knew
course,
that Feng Zhangxia
Mulan
was
knew
calling
that
her to do
Madam
some
Qi
work,
must have done something
so she
to
had
cross
no
Zhao
choice but to
Yun's
bite the
bottom
bullet
line.
and go over.
That was why Zhao
Mother.
Yun was angry. Shen Pan called out. She didn't
Feng
go forward to
Zhangxia
stop
looked
her.
at Shen Pan.
She didn't understand the
apologetically.
situation.
Pan or girl,
Based on her
hurry up and
understanding
help
of
your
Zhao
second
Yun
aunt wash the dishes.
she was on Zhao Yun's
Shen
side.
Pan knew that she couldn't escape, so she sighed in her heart and nodded in response.
Chapter
Mother,
1198.
I understand.
I'll
It was
go
not
now.
because he felt sorry for
Okay.
Madam Qi,
Shen Pan
but because he
walked
felt
to Li
very
Chuang's
embarrassed
side
and squatted down
However,
to wash the dishes.
he could not protect his
She
own
treated
woman,
Li Chuang
and he
coldly.
had no way to protect
If it
her.
weren't for Li
Who
Chuang,
asked Zhao
she
Yun
wouldn't
to
have
be
come
so
over to do
awesome?
housework.
According to
Shen
Zhao
Pan
Yun's attitude,
was most afraid of washing
even if she
dishes
argued
because
with
her
Li
hands
Zhang,
were very
she was
fragile.
not afraid.
If they were
It
soaked
meant
in
that
water
she
for
did
too
not
long,
take Li Zhang
they would
seriously.
easily peel and break,
Zhao Yun
causing
was
pain.
so arrogant
A
because
pair
she
of
had the right
originally
to be
white
arrogant.
and tender hands would
After
become
all,
very ugly.
Zhao Yun was
Shen
backed by
Pan
the heir of the
suppressed
crown
the disgust
prince.
in her heart and
Who
washed
dared
the
to provoke
dishes.
the heir of the crown
However,
prince?
some thoughts
Even Li
appeared
in her mind.
Did not dare to make a
She
fart
couldn't
in front
stand
of
the
the heir
people
of
in
the crown
old
prince,
Zhao's family.
let alone
They
make
were all
decisions
very
for them.
strange. At this moment,
If she had to stay with them for the rest of her life,
the night being
she
beaten
would
up by
probably
Zhao
break
Yuner.
down.
But he
It
could
was
not
already
intervene.
very difficult to
It was
endure
not
for 3
worthwhile
years.
to offend Zhao
If she
Yuner for a
continued to
lazy
endure,
woman.
she
Mrs.
would
Zhu
probably
and
break
Zhu
down.
Sanlu stood aside
Actually,
and did not intend
there was
to help
no
at
need
all.
for them to stay
Instead,
together.
they were gloating.
They could wait for the
Mrs.
future
Zhu
and
felt
split
that
up.
Madame Qi needed to be taught a lesson.
The people in the third branch had already
Coincidentally,
split up,
Zhao
so
Yun
the people in the first
came
branch
over to
could
teach her a
naturally
lesson,
split too.
so that
If
Madame
they
Qi
split
would
up,
know how to
the
restrain
whole
herself.
family wouldn't have to eat together.
Madame
If the
Qi
first
screamed
branch started
miserably,
cooking,
but she could
Shen
not
Pan,
resist,
or would be able
she
to
could
use her
only
own
bear
money
it
to
passively.
supplement their meals.
In the end,
After
Madame
all,
Qi
they
lost a
wouldn't have
tooth
to eat
because
too
of
much
Zhao
food
Yuner,
and the
and
expenses.
blood came out of her mouth.
She didn't take out any
Help
money now
Zhao's
because there were
father.
too many people
Come
in
and
the
help
Zhao
me.
family.
I'm going to
Moreover,
be beaten to death.
she felt that there was no need
Madame
to
Qi
subsidize
asked
these
Zhu
weirdos.
Dainyu, who was
If she
standing
had the
aside,
money,
she
for
might
help
as
with a
well
list.
secretly buy some
Zhu
snacks to
Dainyu
eat.
saw this situation.
After all, If he did not intervene,
had to live with the others,
Madame
and the
Chi
others
would really be beaten to death. After sighing in his heart, he stood in front of Madame Chi
the
and
first
stopped
didn't have to lead the others and lead, and then the other.
You have beaten this person. Are you done now?
The more Shen Pan
thought
asked
about
in
it,
a friendly way,
the stronger her desire to separate from the family
glanced
grew.
at Madame Chi
No,
on the ground.
after today's work,
Seeing her
she had to
bruised
talk to
nose
Feng
and swollen
Zhongxia and
face,
Zhao Wenshe
she
and
felt
discuss
much
the
better.
matter of splitting up.
I'm done.
Old Zhao's
However,
kitchen was
she'd
buzzing
better
with
be
activity.
tactful.
The sound
Otherwise,
of chopping could be
I can't
heard
guarantee
constantly.
that I'll continue to do it
Compared to the
myself.
busy old Zhao's family,
Zhu Dainya's
Zhao
brows
Yun'er's
twisted
family
together.
was much more
He
leisurely.
looked at Zhao Yun'er and then looked at Madame Chi on the ground.
Therefore, he pulled Madame Chi to her feet and questioned her coldly. You bitch. You're
Chapter
still not
12,
telling me the
17.
truth.
Hurry
Hurry
up and tell me
Zhao
clearly.
Yun'er's family
Otherwise,
prepared lunch and
see
called
how
out to
I'll
the
deal
workers
with
to
you.
eat. While
Madame
Zhao
Chi
Wenhua
looked
ate
at
at
Zhu
old
Dainya's
Dainyu with an
banquet
aggrieved
table.
expression.
After all,
the
Dainyu,
third branch
it's
had
really
sent money
nothing.
as a gift.
As Madame
Zhao
Chi spoke,
Yun'er went to
she
the
had
mountains
lost a
to pick
tooth,
tea leaves
so her
during the
words
day.
were unclear.
When she went to the
Some
third
blood
branch,
even flowed
Zhao
out of her
Ping,
mouth,
or happened
which
to come
looked
over.
very disgusting.
Zhao Ping
If
came
there's
over
nothing,
for no other
why
reason
would
than
I
to
do
borrow
anything
money
to
from
you?
young Jinqiao
Why didn't
and
he
Zhao
find
Wenhua.
trouble with anyone else
Secondly,
but you?
to help Ma Xiaofeng
Madame
plot
Chi
against
curled
his
her
younger
lips and
brother,
pulled Zhu
Zhao
Dainyu.
Tianan.
She whispered
Not
to Zhu
long
Dainyu.
after Zhao Ping
Dainyu,
arrived,
I'll
the
talk
wedding
to you over
procession
there.
sent by young
Listen
Master
to
Meng
my
arrived.
explanation.
However,
Because
seeing Madame
Zhao
Chi's
Xinhui
attitude
was
only going to be a
Zhu Dainyu
concubine,
guessed that something big
young
must have
Master
happened,
Meng did not
so
come
he
personally
nodded.
and only sent a
Okay,
wedding procession.
hurry up and say
the
it.
wedding procession
Madame
was not
Chi
shabby
didn't want
for
to say
Zhao
it at
Xinhui.
first.
There
She
were many
planned to tell
people,
Zhu Dainyu
horses,
after she
and
made some money.
luxurious sedan
Now,
chairs.
she had to make it
was
clear.
much better than the day of Zhao Ping-er's wedding. The
The two
villagers
of them
rarely
went to the
saw
side,
horses,
and Madame
when
Chi
they saw that
explained
there
the
were
whole
horses
thing
in the wedding
clearly.
procession.
When Zhu
They
Dainyu
curiously
heard
came
this,
forward to
his
watch.
brows knitted
They
tightly
looked
together.
and talked about it.
This woman was
As
so
for the
careless
wedding
that she
procession
dared to
sedan
secretly
chair,
take out 5
it was
taels
carried
of
by
silver
8
to buy the
people.
waistland
It
behind
was
his back.
decorated with red cloth.
Wasn't she looking
and it was
down
big
on
and
him?
imposing.
Putting aside
There were
whether
4
Madame Chi
golden
could make
bells
money by
hanging from
doing
the 4
this,
corners of the
her
sedan
behavior
chair.
was wrong in Zhu
When the
Dainya's
procession
eyes.
walked, the bells rang from time to time, making crisp and pleasant sounds. The villagers
Chapter
had never seen such a
1199.
scene, so they
5
naturally
taels of
sighed.
silver was not a
Zhao
small
Ping
amount.
saw such
If
a
it was
scene
gone,
and felt sour
their
in her
family
heart.
Zhu savings
Not
would be
to
gone.
mention the horses.
How would they live
Zhao
in the
Ping
future?
was most concerned
Zhu
about the
Dainyu
wedding
was
procession
slightly
sedan
shocked when he
chair.
thought about it.
The large and luxurious
Thus, his
sedan chair
displeased
really
gaze
stung
landed on
Zhao
Madame
Ping-er's
Chi,
eyes.
and he said to her,
Zhao
"You
Ping,
woman, you've got
thought
quite the
back
guts."
to when she was a monk.
5 taels of
Not
silver.
only was the shelf
5
rented by her
taels of
family
silver
Qin
to
by
broken,
a barren mountain,
but it also fell apart.
Why didn't you discuss
There
it
was
with
no
me?
way for people
Did
to
you
sit on
decide
it.
on your own?
With such a comparison,
Why didn't you clean
how
up the
could
water?
Zhao Ping
feel at
The
ease?
more Zhu Dainyu
She bit
thought
her
about
lower
it,
lip and wondered
the
why
angrier
that
he became.
*tch
It
Zhao
would be fine
Xinhui
if
was
they
so
bought
lucky.
ordinary land.
Hua Chunhua
This way they
shouted
could
at the top
easily
of her
sell it.
lungs when she saw
Even
the
if they
bridal
couldn't
procession
sell it,
approaching.
they could at least
grow
grow
it and make some
the
food.
bridal procession
It
is
wouldn't
here.
be a loss.
Hurry and get
How
ready.
could he sell such a desolate
Zhao
mountain?
Xinhui heard Hua
It was
Chunhua's
obviously
voice
waiting
and
to be
stood up from the
wasted in the
bed.
future.
Not long
Their
after,
family
under
couldn't
everyone's
possibly go up
gaze,
there to grow
a
food.
woman wearing a red
Right?
wedding dress
Madame
walked
Chi
out.
saw Zhu
The
Dainyu's
jewels on his
angry
body
look
were
and pursed
very
her lips.
dazzling.
Dainyu,
The men and women in the
isn't
village
it because
were all
I discussed
stunned.
it with you?
They had never
You
seen
definitely
anyone
won't
get
let me
married
buy
in such
it,
a glamorous
right?
way.
Don't be angry.
Don't say that.
Don't worry.
This old Zhao's
Zhao
daughter is
Yun'er,
so beautiful that I can't
asterisk
take my eyes off
TCH.
her.
Must be
Look at her
thinking that we
figure.
can raise the price
How
of this
many
barren
women
mountain.
can be like this?
This way, she can
That's
spend
right.
more money
Those
and we can
curves
make a
are
lot
really
of money.
seductive.
Zhu
Tisk,
Dainyu
tisk,
heard
tisk,
Madame Chi's
that's
words
right.
and looked thoughtful.
Why didn't I know
He
before?
seemed to still be worried
If I had
and didn't
known,
quite believe
I would
her.
also have received
Madame
a
Chi
marriage
became
proposal
anxious
from
and
the old
continued,
Zhao's family.
Dainyu,
Who
I'm
knows?
right. You
Look
might
at
have been
that
able
little
to marry such a beauty.
Zhao Yun.
All right,
She's
so anxious
Don't
now.
say anymore.
It must be
If
because
your
she
wife
wants
heard
that
this,
barren mountain.
she would break your legs.
This way we can raise the price. Zhu Dainyu thought about it again.
Haha.
You're
so
Zhao
afraid of
Yun'er's
your wife
reaction
that you
was
dare to
indeed
have
like
such
that.
thoughts.
Since she
Be
came to
careful.
find trouble with
We'll
Madame Chi
complain
so
later.
agitatedly, it
Don't.
meant that Zhao Yun'er thought that this
Don't.
barren mountain was
I'm just
indeed
saying.
important. But
In
this
that
Zhao
case,
Xinhui
Madame Chi
is
was
really a
right.
stunner. They could
Old
indeed
Zhao's
make
family
Zhao Yun
really hit it well.
or spend more money to buy
Stop
this
looking.
barren mountain. She's lucky to
Seeing
be
that
able
Zhu
to marry
Dainya's
into a rich
expression was much
family.
better, her.
You can't
Madame Qi
imagine
heaved
it.
a heavy sigh of relief
Under
in her
everyone's
heart.
envious
She was
gazes,
afraid that Zhu
Zhao
Dainiu would be
Xinhui
angry
sat on
and
the
do
bridal
something to her
sedan
when the
chair.
time came.
Hearing the discussions
Dainiu,
around her,
trust me,
Zhao
I will
Xinhui
definitely
couldn't
make
help
money.
but curl the corners
I'm
of her
telling you
lips.
this because I'm thinking about our future. Otherwise, if I don't tell you anything, I won't dare to make decisions without your permission.
Chapter 12.
Madame
Qi
Qi
looked at Zhu
the
Dainiu
corners of her
fawningly.
mouth curled up
Knowing that Zhu
involuntarily.
Dainiu was like
This display of
she had to
extravagance
coax him
really
well.
made her proud.
Zhu Dainiu rolled
Thinking
his
of
eyes
everyone's
at Madame
envy
Qi
of her,
and snorted.
Zhao Xinhui
Don't be
felt a
complacent
burst of
too
pride.
early. Who
If
said
Zhao
that young
Yun
Master Mengs
doesn't
looks
send the money
relaxing?
over,
She would be
in trouble.
satisfied as long as she could
Madame
live a good
Qi
life with
smiled
young Master
embarrassedly.
Meng in the future.
Dainiu,
Don't
Zhao
worry.
Xinhui sat in
She
the
will
sedan
definitely
chair.
give us a lot
With
of
a
money.
shout from the matchmaker,
She needs that mountain.
The sedan chair started moving.
All right, Then
In
let's
old
discuss
Zhao's
with Zhao
courtyard,
Yuner and
Hua
see how
Chunhua
much
saw
she's
this
willing to
scene and
pay
couldn't
us.
help but wipe the
Zhu
tears from the
Dainyu
corners of her
commanded.
eyes. Seeing
Okay,
that Zhao
Dainyu.
Xinhui was getting
Madam
married,
Qi
Hua
answered
Chunhua
eagerly.
was both happy
The two
and
of them
sad.
returned to Zhao
After
Yuner.
all, a married
At this
daughter
time,
was like
Zhu
spilled
Dainyu
water.
stood in front of
It
Madam
would be
Qi
very
to protect
difficult
her.
for her to see her again in the future.
She didn't know when Zhao Xinhui would be able to come back.
If she married into an ordinary family, she could come back often. However, there should be many rules in young Master Meng's residence. After all, young Master Meng came from a wealthy family and was different from them country bumpkins. Even Zhao Baoshan, who was at the side, had tears in his eyes. Seeing that the bridal sedan chair had started moving, Hua Chunhua directly cried and wailed, "Ah, my Hui! Mother's flesh and blood, mother can't bear to part with you." After saying that, she began to wail again, crying very sadly. Zhao Baoshan glanced at Hua Chunhua. Seeing that Hua Chunhua wasn't crying as if she was marrying off a daughter, but as if she was crying at a funeral, he said to Hua Chunhua with a cold face, "Crying, crying, crying, what are you crying for? His daughter's marriage was a joyous occasion. Look at how you're crying. Aren't you afraid of bad luck?" Hua Chunhua wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. "Old man, I can't bear to part with Hui. I raised a daughter for so long, and now she's suddenly getting married. I feel sad." Zhao Baoshan rolled his eyes at Hua Chunhua.
"Then are you hoping that she won't get married? So that she can stay at home all day with you?"
Hua Chunhua wiped her tears and shook her head. "That's not it either. Hui will definitely get married."
"Isn't that enough? Let's see what you're going to cry for." "All right, don't cry. Hurry up and get busy.
The banquet is about to begin." Hua Chunhua sobbed and glanced in the direction where Zhao Xinhui had left.
She sighed and went back to work.
At this time, the people who came to attend the banquet were all in the courtyard, waiting for the banquet to begin. Hua Chunhua wiped her tears and went to the kitchen. The chef in the kitchen called out, "Chef Zhou, can we start the banquet now?" Chef Zhou wiped his apron and said to Hua Chunhua, No, we have to wait for a while."
"Why do we have to wait for a while? Why haven't you finished your work yet?"
"Back then, my third branch was even faster than you." Hua Chunhua grumbled in dissatisfaction. When Chef Zhou heard Hua Chunhua's words, he replied with some displeasure, "It's not that I didn't work well. These assistants are all slower than the previous one. They haven't even prepared the things that should be prepared."
"What can I do? Are you trying to put the blame on me?"
Hua Chunhua felt that Chef Zhou should not treat her like this since she had spent money to invite him back. She said angrily, "I spent money to invite you back, so I have to give you 800 copper coins. You have to do more work.
How can you put the blame on the rest of my family? I think you're the one who can't do it."
"You're not worth 800 copper coins. No, after the banquet, I can't give you that much. I can only give you 600 copper coins at most." Chapter 12:19. "I say, you old woman, why are you so unreasonable? We chefs are responsible for cooking here. You didn't even cut the vegetables that were supposed to be cut, wash the dishes that were supposed to be washed, and look for the things that were supposed to be there.
How can you blame me for wasting so much time?"
Chef Zhou replied unhappily. Hua Chunhua put her hands on her waist and said in an imposing manner, "You didn't make it clear before. I invited you over, but you were busy with all these. How can you count on others?"
Chef Zhou frowned.
He felt that it was useless to reason with people like Hua Chunhua. He angrily took off the apron on his body and said to Hua Chunhua, "If you give me 600 copper coins, then you're going back on your words. I won't cook this banquet." As he said that, he was about to leave. Feng Zhangxia hurried forward to stop him. "Mother, I said I'll give you 800 copper coins, so I'll give you 800 copper coins. Now that Chef Zhou is leaving, what about our family's banquet?" "That's right, Mother. We don't know how to cook many dishes, and Yun didn't come to help us. She said that we can only count on Chef Zhou." Qian Zhanzhao also chimed in. Hua Chunhua was still nagging. It wasn't done well in the first place. Of course, it's not worth the money. 600 copper coins is already good enough. Chef Zhou had cooked for so many people, but he had never met someone like Hua Chunhua. What kind of person was this? Even if Feng Zhangxia and Qian Hongzhao pulled him back,
He still didn't want to cook. Okay. I'll take it that I suffered a loss today. Whoever wants to cook can cook. Chef Zhou angrily pushed Feng Zhangxia away. Seeing that Chef Zhou was really going to leave, Feng Zhangxia and Qian Hongzhao were very anxious. They hurriedly persuaded Hua Chanhua. Mother, don't say any more. Hurry and persuade Chef Zhou. If Chef Zhou leaves, how can the banquet continue? Mother, you can't say something soft. You can't ruin little sister's happy occasion for 200 copper coins, right? If this gets out, people will laugh at us. That's right, Mother. It was such a glorious occasion. We can't let others talk about the banquet. Otherwise, when little sister finds out, she'll blame us. With Feng Zhangxia and Qian Hongzhao's persuasion, Hua Chanhua rolled her eyes. Although she was unwilling, she had no choice. Thus he nodded and said, hi, all right then. That chef really got lucky. Mother, don't be angry. The most important thing is to make little sister's wedding grand. Don't you think so? Hua Chanhua replied, Yes. Hurry up and call Chef Zhou back. All right. Feng Zhangxia replied, feeling relieved in her heart. The reason why she kept Chef Zhou alive was that she was afraid that Hua Chanhua would not be able to find him later. If that happened, they would have to work for her. That wouldn't do. She was already busy. Living was tiring enough. If she cooked a big pot of dishes, she would be exhausted to death. Chef Zhou was packing up his things. When he was about to leave, Feng Zhangxia ran over and shouted to Chef Zhou. Chef Zhou, don't take my mother-in-law's words to heart. I just said that the salary will definitely not be less. You can rest assured. Chef Zhou was a person with a temper. When he heard Feng Zhangxia's words, he snorted coldly. Forget it. No need. I'll go. Your family's banquet. Whoever wants to cook can do it. I won't earn 800 copper coins. I'll go now. Chapter 12:20. Feng Zhangxia did not expect Chef Zhou to say this. She was stunned on the spot. After she reacted, she hurriedly said to Chef Zhou, Chef Zhou, don't be like this. If you leave, what will happen to my family's banquet? What does that have to do with me? I still want to say that I'm really unlucky to have come here today. Not only did I not earn any money, I even suffered a stomach full of anger. Chef Zhou, don't be like this. I'll ask my mother to apologize to you. This banquet is halfway done. Is there any way to invite another chef now? Feng Zhangxia frowned and looked at Chef Zhou with a pleading expression. Chef Zhou snorted coldly. That's still your family's business. All right, I'm not going to talk nonsense with you. I've packed my things, I have to go. With that, Chef Zhou carried the wicker basket he brought over and walked out of the courtyard. Feng Zhangxia hurriedly came out of the kitchen. Hua Chanhua shouted, Mother, hurry up and come out. Chef Zhou is leaving. I said 800 copper coins, but he's not willing to continue cooking. Hua Chanhua rushed out of the kitchen and scolded loudly. What? Didn't I say 800 copper coins and he's not willing to do it? Feng Zhangxia nodded and said, Yes, Mother. He's not willing to do it. Right now, he's in a fit of anger. It's probably because he was angered by you just now. Hurry up and say something. It's best if you say something soft and apologize. That way, he'll agree. However, Hua Chanhua frowned. Why should I say something soft? How can this person be like this? Since he said that he's going to host a banquet for our family's head chef, how can he go back on his words? If this spreads out, let's see how he's going to do business in the future. Chef Zhou's sharp ears heard Hua Chanhua's words. He could not help but turn around and said to Hua Chanhua, Who's going back on their words? Shouldn't you be the first one to go back on your words? You clearly said 800 copper coins, but you suddenly said 600 copper coins. What do you mean by this? Hua Chanhua was not convinced by Chef Zhou's words. She said, Isn't it because you work too slowly? That's why it's worth so much money. Fine. Whatever you say. I won't cook anymore. You can't do anything to me. I'm really unlucky. Chef Zhou muttered and left in a huff. He was really an idiot. He had wasted his time arguing with Hua Chanhua, and now he was even angrier. At this moment, Chef Zhou really left.
Feng Zhangxia said in her heart, "It's over, it's over."
Mother!
Feng Zhangxia looked at Hua Chunhua, not knowing what to do.
Hua Chunhua's frown deepened.
This chef. This was too much.
Wasn't this clearly intentional? He must be doing this to get her to give him more money. She wasn't that stupid. At this moment, Zhao Baoshan walked over. What's going on? What's going on?
Feng Zhangxia said to Zhao Baoshan with a bitter face. Father, our family chef left.
What? Zhao Baoshan was stunned. The chef left? What's going on? What's going to happen to the banquet now that he's gone?
Feng Zhangxia sighed and said, Yes, father.
I don't know what to do now. Where can we find a chef for our banquet? Zhao Baoshan's brows furrowed. Chef can leave in peace? Don't change the topic. What's going on? Give me a clear explanation.
Faced with Zhao Baoshan's interrogation, Feng Zhangxia looked at Hua Chunhua with some hesitation.
Father.
You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.